Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
But we're told that we don't like any of this because we're misogynists. We just don't like this stuff because we're women. And the only reason we're unhappy about the Ray movie coming out, because, guys, did you hear the Ray movie was canceled and uncanceled? Did you hear that?
Dre, you heard that too, right?
I did hear it.
Wait,
I did hear it.
What did I do?
You said because we're women.
We hate it because we're women.
Okay. All right. Yeah, see, now Ariel just arrived, and she's going to make sure that I remember that.
Yes, we didn't want it to come out like this, but Adam is in fact trans. He's coming out of the closet. Him and Dermy are in a relationship. It's time.
It's still there. It's still there.
I didn't say that.
I am dumping unlimited power into you.
We want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't want sores and fat whores.
Liar! No.
Let me be as clear as I can. Ain't no colors in Scandinavia.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Hi, everybody. There's only two of us here right now. No, we have a little backup on the way. He's running a little late. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the round table, where we go over the week's events in our own special way. Dre, I had a completely different show planned for today. And then bet. And then Friday happened. And then Saturday happened. And this is going to be a bit of a complicated discussion today, I think, because there's a lot of moving parts. And I specifically want some of your input as someone who has experience in the gaming development world. But we're going to get this. So anyway, welcome one and all. Dre, how are you doing as the only person who showed up to work today?
I'm doing a whole lot better, thank you. After being down for about a week and a half, after having my teeth yanked out of me.
Was it wisdom teeth? I'm assuming.
These two ended up having to be pulled. These came out a few years ago, but this, I ended up getting a cavity on the inside.
Ooh.
How does that happen?
How does that happen? I don't know. I mean, I still have mine because I have two of them. They came in and they just are there. Actually, three came in. And this one right here, it is impacted. It's completely horizontal.
Yeah.
But it hasn't moved in ever. It just sits there. And as long as I keep that gap pretty clean, I haven't had a problem. So I don't know if I would get mine, but that's a thing. So
yeah,
we're glad you're doing all right.
Yeah, whole lot better.
Static tagged in last week, and if you guys notice, Jed isn't here because he's off trotting around. But in all seriousness, congratulations both Jed and Rachel for getting engaged. We are very happy for them. And now that means, of course, Jed will have less time for our relationship, and that devastates me inside. But we're still going to make our love be true. It's going to happen anyway. So we best happiness, best wishes to Jed and Rachel. I could say that because they have made it public, so I'm not talking out of turn here. So we congratulate them. Dragon Lady is still at her family's where she doesn't get good Wi-Fi, and we will be joined by a certain individual who will jump in when he gets here. I think he just woke up. I know he's here. He said he's coming, but he just woke up. But when he gets here, he gets here. But as I said, we've got a complicated show today because this is a complicated discussion to have concerning Sony, started with Stellar Blade. I went at this to try and look at it from big picture because Dre, I'm trying to be objective on all of this. there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of legitimate anger, but some of it I feel like is getting conflated here and there. And I'm sure you'll have some input on that, because I'm trying to find a way to honor the truth of this, but still remain objective, because and we'll get into it. You could see it right here. I have a PlayStation 5 right here. Sony is my console of choice, but I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a white knight. I've criticized it this week. I've made some statements over the past, I would say 72 hours here on other streams. We're going to talk Helldivers 2. We're going to talk Sony, all things related to that. They're bad PR week. And then we got graced yesterday with an Acolyte trailer. And this is supposed to be an official trailer. It's only 1 minute and 50 seconds. It's really
That's
short,
intentional.
and it does nothing. It's really nothing. And we're gonna get into how the Disney stands. They're on another level right now.
Oh yeah.
Because this is the anniversary of Phantom Menace, and real fans are going, yeah, hey, great. But the Disney stands have taken that moment to try and push some old propaganda concerning it. My favorite is Star Wars has always been political.
Of course, that
I got blocked by somebody. Because I had to comment on somebody going, this is how I look at using, of course, a Disney Star Wars pick from their crap Bad Batch show, which just ended and only 5 people watched. This is how I look at people who always say Star Wars wasn't woke or political. And I simply said, "Oh, look, another Disney stand who's impressing their own ideological beliefs onto something when it's not there." And I woke up this morning to a DM from a rando saying, "Go back to where you came from, boomer. You don't get it. Stop. Your writing sucks." I mean, it's like, now they didn't tell me to Minecraft myself, so I didn't have to report them like I normally do when I get one of those messages. But I just deleted it and moved on. Somebody tell me, oh, this person clearly doesn't understand. They've never seen the movies. Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about Star Wars. I don't know anything. I haven't literally devoted my entire life as a fan to that franchise. No, so it's the reaction to that stuff. It's glorious love. We're gonna get into that a little bit, and at the same time, originally I had time. I wanted to clock in talking about their May the 4th promotion. Did you see their May the 4th promotional trailer?
No, I didn't. Because here's the issue, Adam. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday was Star Wars Day. Star Wars Day. But in reality, I was celebrating a different holiday.
Yes, you were.
I was celebrating Free Comic Book Day, which happens to fall on May the 4th this year. So I was in the midst of celebrating a real holiday that is actually recognized nationwide.
It's decades old, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is one of the most important days in comic books. Free Comic Book Day. You go to your local comic shop. It's a huge event, and it was great. That's what I was celebrating yesterday. While at the same time, all the 4th be with you stuff was going around, which is fine if you're going to acknowledge real Star Wars. I'm fine with that. But if your May the 4th is
that's the thing,
Disney Star Wars,
Disney really didn't in this trailer. We're going to start with that as our warm up, because that was what I originally had planned. We were going to react to that. I could have made a video yesterday, but I woke up much later than I intended, and then I had to make blueberry scones.
Ooh.
They're delicious. Oh, they're so good. It was the first time I made them. I kind of knew what to do, and it all came together. It was glorious. So they're delicious. They are some of the best scones ever. It's a little crispy on the outside, nice and cakey, creamy goodness inside. I sweetened the berries, so they're nice and sweet, and they're juicy. They're fresh. I just bought them a few days ago. Oh, so good. I still got a few left. I only ate one. Hey,
how many did you make?
I made 8. It makes 8. Half for me, half for my mom.
Nice.
And then I made a whole bunch of chocolate chip cookies on Friday too. So I kind of went a little bake crazy this week.
Clearly.
Yeah. I wanted something tasty.
Got the bacon itch back in you, huh? Jeez.
Well, it's make things nice. You know, that belief, make things nice, makes things pleasant. It's kind of an atmospheric thing. Make things feel good. And
fair enough.
I did that. So I woke up late and I was like, well, I can either try and crank out a half-assed version, or I could do it tomorrow and have everybody's fun reactions to it. So we're gonna do that because I've watched it. It's lame. It's stupid. And that anyway. Let's say hi to the chat, and we'll start with that. Hail both Legatus Legionist and Algrim the Strong, good sir. My mods, my regulars here to keep the peace. And in terms of Legatus, be my personal troll whenever he feels like it. Going down the list. Hail to going here, moving faster. Anyway, hail to Frank Leskowitz. How you doing, my friend? Hail Static. How you doing? Hail to you, Ruben X. Yes, we are crimers. Dre, are you a crimer? Jed, Dre, are you crimer?
Today I am.
I really wish. You see, that was the last week. I wanted you here for that one when they replaced hard R for the Celebrate thing with crimer.
Yeah,
I really
I
wanted
don't.
you here for that.
Yeah, like I don't like. It's just what people are doing with language is absurd. I'm having a hard time trying to keep up.
It's like, first of all, nobody cared that it said hard R except a bunch of fake journos who were offended.
Yeah,
And then they replace it with something that is an actual thing, a crime that has an actual worse connotation than hard R.
Yeah. It like people don't get it. Like crimer is actually an offensive term. Like legitimately offensive because it literally only points to one group of people.
Exactly.
And so it's like calling somebody a crimer is literally something that can be taken offense to. Yeah. But the idea of using the hard R, which I just think is funny, in my first opinion,
it was just silly, and it's even though they say it was unintentional, it really was more gamer than anything else at this point, with how gamers talk to each other in lobbies. If you have public lobbies turned on when you're playing games, so it's,
if you have that on, for those of the uninitiated, won't know what they're getting themselves into. But if you've been playing online games for decades, that's how it works. There's going to be some choice language being thrown across the airways.
Yeah. Now, I never say stuff like that because I'm a gentleman. I don't use those words.
Good for you, Adam. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. I've never said French baguette ever in my life. Never.
Oh, of course.
Never. Anyway, hail Hazada, son of Jocks. How are you doing? Hello, Jaden Hamilton. Young man, get ready to serve our country. And anybody else is watching, not chatting, we're happy to have you here. Hit that like button. And all right, let's get started. We're buying time for a certain individual to get here. So we're going to start with this one. I have it. Here we go. So let's start with this one. This was the trailer that they put out on Friday.
Okay.
To promote May the Force be with you. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Like Dre pointed out, it is a fake holiday created by Disney literally 12 years ago for a marketing purpose in order to push it. And it really is good for one thing: sales on Steam.
Agreed. I went and got Republic Commando for like $5.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. I will. I every year I get at least one game off it. There's only really one left because I'm not a fan of the wide swath of games. I prefer the RPGs and the strategy stuff and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get Empire at War because I had that.
Is that on sale on Steam?
Yeah, $5.
Oh, cool. I'll wait till after. I'll wait till after.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until tonight. I haven't done it yet because it's on sale till tomorrow, so the sale's still going. So yeah, I'm gonna get to that's the last one I'm gonna get, and then I have everything I want. I mean, they still have KOTOR, both games for like literally $2.49. You have no excuse not to get them if you don't have.
Agreed.
And they have a swath of other things, but that's the last one I want because I played the original Empire at War, and that was a fantastic strategy game. And I never played the DLC though.
I think that was the gold expansion.
It was the Underworld thing where they added the Underworld, and then they upgraded the fleets for Rebel and Empire, where they put in the Executor. You build the Executor.
Yeah, I think that one had its own 2 discs. If memory
I just remember it came out, and I was like, I don't want to get this right now. And then, of course, not too much longer, they stopped making physical copies of games.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
think I still have the disc somewhere in here.
I don't. I know I don't.
I think I still have them.
Crazy thing is that I had it for my Mac all these years ago, but the Steam version's only for Windows.
Yeah.
So they made it for Mac. But I think the reason they're not anymore is because that's it wouldn't work on a modern day Mac because the modern Macs won't run 32-bit anymore.
Yeah.
They only run 64.
Mm-mm.
So that's probably why. And I accept that. And I can still stream it over there. It's not a problem. So I'm going to get it. And that's something to stream. That's a nice, casual, fun strategy game to stream because, in my opinion, there's never been a better fleet builder for a Star Wars game.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Well, one of the best things about that was when you are the rebellion fighting the Empire, and you have to, the Empire has the advantage because
Yes.
all you got to do is build Star Destroyers and squadrons of TIE bombers and TIE fighters. That's all you got to do. And then have interdictors to keep from the rebels from escaping. It's so simple. When you're the rebellion, you start off in the game, you can build a couple of shit things. You can't even build Corellian, Mon-Cal cruisers. You can't build the Mon-Cal cruisers until later. And even then, they are still not quite a match for a Star Destroyer. So what you have to do, you have to actually play the goddamn game. You have to have Y-Wing squadrons run bombing runs on the Star Destroyers and take out the shield deflector arrays.
Yep.
So that you can bring down the shields. And then you have to keep hammering them over and over again. It's like hit and run. You have to actually, you can't just tell them to do it. You have to be in control and focus in on there and have them beat it. So it takes
and the direct targeting system, which I
Yes.
think is so good. Like you have to say, like, oh, I'm gonna target the engines, or I'm going to target the bridge and stuff.
And that's how you take out a Star Destroyer. You
Yeah,
take
chef's
out the
kiss.
shields, you take out the engines, and you cripple it. Otherwise, you can't freaking beat it. So
Yeah.
that's why it was such a great game to learning about Star Wars ships. And it had a neat little thing where, of course, the Empire can build the Death Star, and you can have it. But the only way to beat the Death Star is if you have Luke.
But wasn't that only on skirmish mode? You can.
I don't remember. You could turn it off. Oh,
Yeah,
wait
I thought that was only skirmish mode.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Our guest has arrived.
I'm trying to talk about all sorts of topics on my show, and it's like, no, I can't talk about topics. I can't talk about topics. I can barely grab onto myself. God damn, I used to always be on top. Got really weird when I got cornered by a bunch of old guys.
And then I said this.
That's why you live.
How you doing, Dermy? You get enough sleep? How much longer did you guys go last night?
When did you lock off?
Around 4.
For your time, so that would be 3. We went for about almost 2 hours more.
Wow. Yeah. And I didn't go to sleep till 5, but I did leave. So, how'd you like 14 last night? Did you have a good time?
I had a good time getting back into it. I'm all set up to start doing one of the main storyline missions, so I can do that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time with that. So Dermy is joining us today because Dermy has thoughts on everything we're talking about today. And we shared some of that on Friday, and we were just going over how fake Star Wars Day is yesterday, how it's fake Star Wars Day.
Oh, but Star Wars Day is amazing. Don't you just love May the 4th? May the 4th be with you, Adam.
No, I don't. No, fuck it. No, Anyway, so we were just I was buying as much time as I could so you could get here. But we're talking about classic games and how it's only good for one thing, buying games on Steam. That's it. But you've seen this trailer, haven't you, Dermy? You've seen the May the 4th trailer.
No, I stayed as far away from it as humanly possible.
Oh, well then enjoy it with us right now. This thing is a joke. And I want you to keep track of how much Disney Star Wars of this is in this and actual Star Wars is. So let's take a quick look at this. This is our warm up because we're gonna do this. Then we got to look at the Acolyte trailer, and then we'll talk some Disney. And later on, guys, we're also gonna talk some Doctor Who, just a little bit, because Dermy and I have a thing we're doing next week.
Yes,
we got a thing we're doing. Anyway, all right.
We got some bad things.
Bad things. All right, so let's look at this.
Remove your helmet. We must walk the way together.
It all started.
We're so diverse. Don't you love it that Star Wars is diverse?
I've only seen one OT character so far.
Yeah, and
but it was a stormtrooper.
Yeah, but they're trying to remind you. Guess what? Everybody, Star Wars is for everybody. Dre, do you feel represented with this dude taking off his Mando helmet?
This guy looks like he owes me some money. So, nah. Tyrone owes me money. 110%.
Bitch, where's my money? Where's my money?
You owe me money.
Where's my money? Yeah, he owes you some money. Well, he spent it all on that bad cosplay.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
With the fans.
Okay, all right. This is classic footage right here. That's 80s right there. You can tell just by looking at it. Look at the haircut, the clothing. This is the 80s. This is probably 80 itself because you got Boba Fett there. Might even be 83 prior to Jedi. I need somebody a little older than me to confirm that because I was a young child and my memories don't extend that far. But this is real footage. But this isn't even OT. This is actual true fans appreciating.
If I could sum up Star Wars fan.
And now here comes the fake. That's 2019 Star Wars people. That's mostly fake fans.
In one word.
Energy. Love. Trust.
Okay. Energy, love, and trust.
Where are they getting these words from?
Yeah.
I think themselves, and then I think they're having some of the actors actually say that because I feel like that is
that sounded like Dawson right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, energy, love, life, whatever. I've never expressed myself like that talking about anything that I enjoy. Have you?
No.
Because these people don't enjoy it.
They're
These
reading
people are just
scripts.
Yeah, they're just reading off a piece of paper.
Yeah.
When I describe Star Wars, those are not the words I use. So
exactly.
I don't get it.
I know. It's brimming with fake is what it is.
Fearless. Loyal.
Okay. Oh, so you're there. Let the clips of Disney Star Wars. You have how much actual Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan to pull from with 3 movies? You've got 3 movies back. And what do? You pull from the most criticized portrayal of Obi-Wan in existence. Where he's actually acting like a bit of a groomer here, talking to a little girl. Got to remember that.
Fair enough.
Got to remember that.
Fearless. Loyalty.
I'm counting on you.
We stay together.
Oh my, Andor, Bad Batch, Disney Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, Disney Star Wars.
We're a family.
Oh, hey, got to get that Acolyte plug in there. I got to get it in there.
It's so beige.
It's
so beige.
The High Republic, which has no style and has no expression. Except
beige is the definition of High Republic.
I guess. Yeah, you're not wrong. And so is like rocks, sentient rocks.
Come on, let's go.
I know that was from I just had it. Ahsoka.
Yeah.
When you had
the flashback Rex with the scene which I have given you shit over loving. So
you gave me shit over loving it. I still like that scene, but that's because that was the one bit of actual Anakin I ever got.
Mm-hmm. But so they threw in that vision thing here. Now here's a moment of actual Star Wars. Pod racing, but they show you that, but then they replace it with Andor. Who people continually go, this is peak. I hate that word now. I really do. It's overused. It has no meaning anymore. Somebody said yesterday in reply to the trailer we're going to watch after this is peak Star Wars. The Acolyte.
It's a family that.
Okay, here's behind the scenes of actual Star Wars when they're making, this is 1976, filming New Hope. But they can't actually show a New Hope clip. They can't show Empire Strikes Back. They can't show Return of the Jedi. We are almost halfway through, and they haven't shown a single clip from an actual Star Wars movie outside that little pod race Anakin point of view.
You'll carry on with you for a very long time to come, I think, and I hope.
This is where the fun begins.
And okay, so they're showing prequel stuff, but they're showing behind the scenes. They're showing interactions at conventions. If you're supposed to be celebrating Star Wars, why am I not seeing Star Wars in this? Can anybody explain that?
Well, I will say they are showing at least a fan favorite character right now that's still around that isn't freaking Luke. I can't remember his actor's name off the top of my Hamill.
Hayden. Oh,
No, yeah, they're showing Hayden right now. They're
Yeah.
showing Hayden Christensen, somebody that
Yeah.
everybody still loves. He hasn't really
Yes.
put his foot in his mouth, unlike Ewan, and Hayden still is very much enjoying.
Yeah.
So they are showing you something that people do like.
Well, Hayden completed his redemption arc,
Yeah.
separate from Anakin's redemption arc, where
Yes.
he went through a phase where people didn't like him, and he took it like a man.
Mhm.
He took it like a man. He didn't attack fans. He didn't criticize people. And then time has softened a lot of views on the prequel trilogy, which we're going to be discussing a lot on this channel in the coming month. So I'll get into that another time. But Hayden took it like a man, and then he comes back, and I'm not going to throw shade at Hayden Christensen for participating in all this because, one man's got to make a living, and if they're going to offer him money to go to this stuff and to go to conventions, dude, more power to you. And he's treated the fans with respect, so no hate on Hayden Christensen, none at all. But I'm still, if you're doing a promo, I know that's their thing. They're trying to say, look, this is how you interact with fans, even though a weirdo like this is wearing a mask during this period of time. They're still playing to the weirdos here. They're not playing to the real fans. The stands are all they're trying to appeal to here.
Bunch of masks in this.
Yes,
because there's one right
there,
behind Ewan. There's one behind him.
And there's another one right there. Yeah, this is peak broken people.
Come on, baby. Do the magic hand thing.
I know. R.I.P. Carl Weathers, but that piece of dialogue is dog shit. That's just.
It's not Star Wars dialogue.
No, it isn't.
It's Disney dialogue.
It's Dave Filoni dialogue. That's what it is. It's Dave Filoni dialogue, plain and simple.
Well, I'm saying it's Disney because you would see that even in Marvel.
True, very true. You are right.
Star Wars has been something I did with my father when I was a kid.
And then it just became like this tradition.
It's been a part of my life forever.
Okay.
This fandom brings in.
I'm still waiting for some real Star Wars here. I mean, it's as though they're playing to the lowest common denominator of this stuff. They're not
When you play to the lowest common denominator that tries to get everybody, you get nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Friends that I've never had before.
I'm looking for someone. Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
One way out! One way out!
Long live the Empire.
Still waiting.
New Star Wars, baby! It's unreal.
The amount of effort you put into being fans.
Oh
my God! I hear his list so hard.
I know. I'm still waiting for actual Star Wars to be shown on this screen. We have 10 seconds left in this trailer, and we haven't seen a scene. They've shown behind the scenes footage. And I'm sorry, point of view Anakin in pod racing does not count. It doesn't count.
Part of what makes Star Wars so great.
Okay, that's a special edition X-Wing right there, or even was it? Was it even a special edition X-Wing?
I don't think that was special edition X-Wing. I think that
Actually,
looks like
or that Rogue One.
Part of what makes Star
that looks like Rogue One.
Yeah.
That either looks like Rogue One or something from Disney's timeline.
Yeah.
Not
Great.
special edition.
To all the Star Wars fans,
May the Fourth be with you.
may the Fourth be with you.
May the Fourth be with you. May the Fourth be with you.
Yeah. That was pandering to fake fans who are the only people that will enjoy this. This is supposed to get you excited. Let's take certain things out of us. Let's pretend this is a real day, a real holiday, a real celebration of Star Wars. And let's say you want to appeal to us, to the chat, to people who are real Star Wars fans. Where is the real Star Wars?
We do it today on Revenge of the Fifth.
Very well played. I mean, I'm looking at this right now here. Let's pull it 1 second so it gets brighter. You can look at this right here. It says what they basically captioned for this: Star Wars Visions, Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars Bad Batch, Star Wars Episode 1 of Phantom Menace. But for that, all they used was the pod racing clip.
Wait, they used New Hope? Where the fuck did they use New Hope?
Maybe they're counting the behind the scenes.
Yeah, the behind the scenes, I think, is what they're counting as well.
Yeah. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, Andor, Obi-Wan, Mandalorian, Ahsoka. These are the things that they used in this trailer let's for even the half a second they used Phantom Menace and New Hope. That is literally 2%, maybe 20% if you do the math right, of everything that was on that thing. They don't care about George Lucas Star Wars. And the people who mouthify this trailer don't care about George Lucas Star Wars. They are the same people who, and I mentioned this to Dre when we got started, and Dermy, I want your opinion on this too. The same people who, with Phantom Menace coming out on their re-release, the 20th anniversary re-release was this week. People going to see it. Of course, I have it here, so I'm not going to go watch it anywhere but in the comfort of my own home because I've seen it on the big screen. I don't need to see it again. And they're appealing to the people who have no understanding or don't care about real Star Wars or imprint their own views. Because I said this is Dre and Chad. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but Dermy wasn't here yet. So yesterday, the stands were talking about how, don't you know, they regurgitated the old Star Wars is always political shit with Phantom Menace. It was always political. It was always woke. And I made a certain comment, and I woke up to a DM today yelling at me that how I'm a boomer. I need to go back in time. My writing sucks. I don't understand it. And I need to shut up and go away. I mean,
well, they say this a lot. Okay. They'll say something's always been political, but when they do that, they're talking about like human level politics, like things that aren't one side or the other. But it's like, I could say prequel trilogy is a little bit more political than OT. I could point that out.
Themed though is the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's classic
it's
political themes, which is not being political. It's storytelling.
Yeah, and it's, hey, anti-war, be careful of how much power you give the government. Do a bunch of like they're political themes, but it's not so overt in your face. Like sometimes it is, but it's not. It is for the sake of the story. Like
what they mean. I mean, but the thing is, they'll take anything like what you just said is perfect. It is a politically themed film, 100%. They're dealing with senates and all that stuff. It's politically themed, but they're trying to say that because it's politically themed, it is political, which is not true. It's true. They're two completely different things. Because most people are stupid, so they don't know the difference between the two things. A political theme is anything that is filmed or shot with an overtone of a courtroom hearing, a senate, or whatever the case may be, is a political themed. But something that is political is when a film is being created with the intention to sway the ideas of the audience. That is the difference. These idiots don't get that. But that is the difference between the two. So they'll see something that has a Senate building or see something that features a president or whatever and say, this is a political film. This is about blah, rah, 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 rah. They're just stupid. They just don't know what they're talking
about. Well, it's like the OT. Everybody keeps telling me, I didn't know it was a World War II allegory until much later in life.
Yeah.
I never even put that together. So when they say it was always political, it's like, I never even saw it in the OT. You could see a little bit more in the prequels, the prequels, but you don't see it anywhere else. And then when you go to the sequels, it's dripping with their politics.
Yes.
Exactly.
All over the place.
Those are political movies.
Yes, you can tell the difference between a politically themed film or a political movie. The new trilogy is political. It's pushing the ideology. Yeah, they're pushing ideology. They're pushing girl bosses. They're pushing
gender.
No white men. That nonsense. They're pushing that intentionally.
It's one thing in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy talk about the threat of totalitarianism, the threat of a government that will trod on the rights of people and then fighting back, and then of course any other little thing. We talk economics in the prequel trilogy, stuff like that. But it's themes, as I said, it's talking about context and it's making the story richer because it's getting you. It's world building. It's world building. As opposed to what Drake just said, you walk into the sequel trilogy and all you get is women's, girl bosses, gender shit, down with the rich, yay communism. I mean, it's all over the place.
Aren't they planning a story that is going to be focused in on that goddamn like rich planet from the second one?
Canto Bite.
Yeah, Canto Bite.
Well, that's in Outlaws. Outlaws, the game coming out. Our character is from Canto Bite. Kay Broken Nose Ugly Bitch Vess is from Canto Bite. And
I still can't get over she's young Freddie Mercury. That's all she is.
Once you see the hair, you can't unsee it. You're right. So, but yeah, they everything Disney does is political and agenda driven, not themed. They're actually trying to indoctrinate you and win you over with their bullshit.
Remember, Bob Iger even said, like, we don't view what we're doing here as political.
Yeah.
We view this as being a responsibility at this point. He wants to be, he's the white Martin Luther King Jr., y'all.
And who voted for him? That's my question. When it comes to that, but I remember when he made that statement, it's like, this is our responsibility. I'm sorry. Who asked you to do that? Who told you to speak for me?
His puppet masters.
BlackRock, State Street,
Alphabet Mafia.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a note now, since we're talking about people in charge here. We are now in May. May is here. April is come and gone. Kathleen Kennedy has not announced a renewal of her contract. Now, we're not playing on the whole, she's going to be fired. No. All things now point to the fact that she's going to probably let her contract run out now. She's not going to be fired. They're not going to force her out. She's letting it end, which means in all likelihood, she will be walking on December 31st. We haven't heard anything. Acolyte comes out in a month. We are literally 29 days away from the Acolyte.
Well, I know this is from like the rumor mill, but wasn't it that she really wanted to get done with
Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones, and then she was going to.
That's the rumors. And now that she finished destroying that franchise too,
it's dead.
She has nothing left to do. I don't know, Jay Fraser. I don't know. I don't think she would stay for it. I think it's a moot point because she knows the ship is sinking. She knows damn well the ship is sinking, but they can't do anything about getting her out because she has too much dirt on everybody. That's always been my opinion. She knows where all the bodies are buried. So she's going to now walk off into the sunset and leave it all at somebody like Dave Filoni's feet or whatever other patsy they put in place to take the fall as Lucasfilm really starts to collapse in the next year. Because 2025, they start filming Mandalorian and Grogu in 3 or 4 months. They've moved up the filming timeline. That's going to come out likely end of next year, maybe early 2026, depending on how long that takes. They're going to put all the failures as that movie's going to cost at minimum $250. Minimum $250. With marketing. It's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Not the fake numbers they put up last week to show how much all these movies lost. I say multiply all that by 2, sometimes 3 to get the actual losses. So, but they're going to put all the blame on somebody else and not her. That's what's going to happen. That's always been my theory. We'll see if it can come out that way. So it's just a matter of time. Because we look at this next thing here. There is nothing good saving grace about Disney Star Wars. Because the Acolyte, I didn't know what was going to happen yesterday. I got halfway through the day before I realized, oh, shit. There's a new Acolyte trailer. But it's only a minute and 45 seconds. That's all it is. The previous one was longer. And they say official trailer. This is the official trailer. And it's really short. So have you guys seen this yet? I haven't.
Nope. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Say stop whenever you want.
Okay.
Say stop. Well, actually, you'll probably want to let it go as you get through it. But let's go. Let's do this. Are you ready?
Last night,
hang on. No coast caption.
a Jedi was murdered.
Oh, God. She used the Force to pick up her knife. Isn't that great? From the studio that brought you The Mandalorian and Andor and Ahsoka. Okay, so
that's not a good track record. That's not a good start.
No, so you got a shot of the Jedi Temple. Congratulations, a familiar image. And now here comes characters you don't know or care about.
The Jedi.
What the fuck is that thing?
That is Daphne Keene. Who?
What do they do to my girl? How they make that young girl look ugly? How did they do
She's
that?
actually matured pretty well over the
Yeah.
years. She's not.
Yeah, I think she's 18, 19 now.
Yeah, she's gotten out of that awkward looking phase. So what she is though, she's a hybrid Dermy of a race that appeared once in the Clone Wars. That's what she is. You look troubled.
She doesn't look like a Star Wars character. And it's beige. Look at all the beige.
There you go.
I'm telling you, this is the beige show.
Yeah. So she's in this, and she's a Padawan who's going to be joining the squad to hunt the Jedi Hunter. But yeah, so she's a hybrid. She's a half something or other. Something Dave Filoni created that George did not.
Justify their galactic dominance.
Okay. Listen to this. Let's go back a little bit. Here comes the propaganda. Because remember, this is Leslie Headland.
Oh,
her sister
yeah.
to Harvey Weinstein, monster who gatekept for a monster. She's making this about your point of view. And she's trying to tell us that maybe bad guys aren't as bad as you see them. So let's listen to that line again. Let's go back a little bit, and I'll let the whole line play.
Justify their galactic dominance.
The Jedi.
In the name of peace. But
the Jedi justified their galactic dominance in the name of peace. So let's just start denigrating the Jedi. Go ahead, Jeff.
Remember, I think it was last year during Star Wars whatever, in which they had the cast even come out that, there's no good and evil.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Well,
it's all shades of gray, and it all depends on where you're looking from.
Your truth. It's like you can be whatever you want.
I always remember that one bitch going like, Star Wars was always very patriarchal. And as the crowd cheers, she goes like, yes.
Yes, Queen slave.
Those are the people in that crowd right there. Yes, Queen crowd. That's the people who don't care. They're just there to be caught up in it. Oh, I'm so excited to wave my light stick and cheer while I wear a mask. I mean, that's what they care about. And this is what Leslie Headland cares about. Not telling a Star Wars story, telling her story, because she just loves the world of Star Wars.
that peace is a lie.
All right, see, that's a subjective thing to use because that is the beginning of the Sith Creed.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this, because I've made it my business to stay as far away from this Disney Star Wars garbage as far as I possibly could throw it. Is this story supposed to be from the perspective of the Sith? Is that what this is supposed to be?
Well, the main character, little Whammon's right here. She's our protagonist in this. She is the Acolyte, serving a Sith Lord who has no business existing in this period and interacting with the Jedi in this way. And
so,
she's assassinating Jedi, and her twin is apparently a part of the Jedi Order as a spy, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so and I'm just playing devil's advocate here because like I said, I've made it. I'm not going to lay my eyes on this garbage under any circumstance. God knows, Adam. I know you're going to sink your teeth into it. You're going to do your thing. Yeah. But my thing is this.
I don't care.
Yeah, this is beyond fan fiction. Fan fiction is at least entertaining. This is garbage. So what only thing I'm trying to understand is maybe if I'm looking at it from a perspective of the villains, I can see myself as the hero. But maybe I'm just thinking.
No, you're right on top. Leslie Headland has come out and said, I am writing this to show you basically that the Jedi are maybe not as good as you think they are, and the Sith are maybe misunderstood. She's basically said that you have to understand that it's not about good or evil. It's about perceptions of good and evil.
Man, the Sith aren't that bad, guys. They just kept running amok of everything. They led wars. If you actually follow the creed,
never just dominated and hurt the galaxy with its rule ever. No, never did that.
No, never, never. It's not like we even have movies of that. It's not like that's actually deep in the lore that they are pure evil.
Well, I commented about this a week or so ago. Leslie Headland's definition of the Force in balance is that the Force only works if you are in balance. And when you're not in balance, that's why maybe the Force doesn't answer your call. So you have to have inner balance and inner peace. And it's not about the light. Balance only exists when the light keeps the dark in check.
Does this woman have any credibility?
No,
okay.
Because she's a lesbian.
And
that's all
okay. Got it.
And it's all about being queer with her.
All I'm gonna say is, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but before the Rule 2 was in place, you always had the Sith basically killing each other off for power and dominance.
That is why Darth Bane instituted the Rule of 2, because they kept their strongest Sith kept killing each other in an endless power struggle. Because what happened was after the Sith Empire, during the time of Revan and stuff like that, after Emperor Vitiate, after he finally lost power, his multiple forms, there was never another Sith Emperor. So all the Sith Lords kept fighting with each other for dominance. There was never an Emperor. There was just a Sith Lord at the top. And they just kept killing each other, one after another. And it diminished their power. So Darth Bane essentially said, that's it. Fuck all y'all. I'm going to kill all of you. I'm going to centralize power with me and create the Rule of 2. Just a master and apprentice, or as I call it, the 2.5, because then the apprentice always has a secret apprentice. That's how it works. So it centralized power. So that means the remaining Sith in that point, a Sith Lord like Darth Bane, and then his follower, who's I don't remember her name. I can't remember that. They would only then choose the most powerful adept they could find to train up as their apprentice. So it just kept centralizing and having the power. That's why Palpatine is so strong after Plagueis, because it's just all the teachings, all the Sith teachings centralized into one place, and that's why they're so powerful. And because they stopped losing their strength and losing their teachings. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's why Palpatine's line in Revenge of the Sith is so important. Plagueis makes the mistake of revealing everything he knew to Palpatine. So once that happens, then Palpatine knows everything and can gank him and move on. Thing is, Palpatine himself didn't believe in the Rule of 2. He believed in having Vader, and because you see in the prequel trilogy, he had Maul. Then he corrupted Dooku, who made him a Sith. Even though Dooku, in my opinion, wasn't really ever a full Sith. He never had Sith eyes. And then he kept trying to get other backups to Vader. And Vader had his own apprentice with Starkiller and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, people thinking, no, Inquisitors don't count because they didn't exist. Inquisitors.
And then you had actually the Emperor did want to get Luke on their side, so
the Emperor wanted both Vader and Luke as his lieutenants, and then hoping that Luke would take over Vader, and then probably also because Palpatine also probably wanted to take over Luke's body, because people want to talk about it. And then Palpatine returned. Palpatine, by the actual lore, he had been transferring his soul from one clone body to another for years, because the way he looks in Return of the Jedi, that's not his original backlash of dark side power when he fought Mace Windu. That's the dark side eating him up from the inside out. Yeah. So he had just kept replacing himself over and over again. He didn't need Project Necromancer to make a clone body.
I'm glad you brought that up, Adam. I'm glad you brought that up, because I made it my business. Because Dermy, if you didn't know, I had surgery a couple weeks ago and had my teeth pulled out.
Oh.
I had some time on my hands, Adam, and I watched all of Bad Batch.
Like
I
1 through 3?
1 through 3.
I feel for you. Even I won't
all
watch
of
that
Bad
shit.
Batch.
Even I won't watch that garbage.
Yep, I watched it all. Let me be clear. That has got to be the biggest waste of my time I have ever engaged in. The whole point of this necromancer thing was to set up like the somehow Palpatine returns nonsense.
Yep, exactly.
Literally in the finale, they undo all of it.
Yep, Project Stardust. That's what they relabeled the Death Star program. Project Stardust.
Was so fierce. Like I couldn't even yell because I couldn't move my mouth. I was like a hostage. I couldn't even move my mouth. because like I did the whole necromancer, whatever, and at the end, Omega lives, the other 3 clones live, and all the research gets destroyed.
And she's
So
going
if
to go
so,
off to fight in the rebellion, so she can be shoehorned in as well, like a.
but Adam, listen to me here. The whole point of this show was to set up the whole somehow Palpatine return nonsense, and they didn't even pull the trigger. They literally wasted everybody's time.
Dre, they left that for the Mandalorian seasons, remember? Because that's what they did in the Mandalorian seasons, setting up.
And they wasted time there. No one's pulling the trigger. They keep and not finishing.
But
That's
the stands say it was
annoying.
such a happy ending. They were literally crying and shouting at the screen, according to what I read on X Twitter.
These people are retarded. That's the real hard R. Okay. All right. Enough. Just like if you're going to commit to this garbage, commit to the garbage. You don't sit there and waste my time and then say, oh, well, Project Necromancer failed, so we don't know how Palpatine returns anyway. You all, Dave Filoni, you're a hack. You're a hack. And I can't even with these people, because if you're going to dick around and then just be like, hey, we've made up some nonsense, stick to it. Own it.
But they can't
it
because
just
they
annoys me.
don't even communicate with each other. They just put this shit out there and then have to retcon their own retcon. It's the Disney Star Wars way. So you understand what I'm talking about.
Agreed.
We're getting back. Let's get back to this trailer. That was a massive tangent and detour into comparing and contrasting real lore to fake lore. This show is setting up a premise that doesn't make any sense, with Sith running around, and you realize every single Jedi you see in this series will have to die to protect what's going to happen here. So let's keep going. So we're now going to carry on Trinity with her lightsaber.
Jedi are being hunted.
Why does this dude have to have this haircut? I mean, seriously. I just don't understand that.
That's the new black standard for.
Okay. Is he black?
He's some type of half breed.
Okay. All right. See, I needed you to say that for me. Thank you, Trey.
Wait, what?
Well,
What the fuck just happened there?
It's Matrix. It's Matrix assassination.
But
he's
just standing there.
I guess. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
If he's a Jedi, shouldn't he have been able to censor?
Well, there's gonna be a lot of Force Kung Fu in this.
Fuck this shit.
You know what, Derby? This is for making me listen to those AI songs on Friday. Okay, that's what this is.
I will do it again.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
Diversity and inclusion. Listen, I don't know who these people are, but their acting is dog shit and the dialogue is dog shit. I'm just saying that. I gotta ask you, is this music doing anything for you guys?
No, this isn't Star Wars. I don't get it.
No, I mean there are individuals out there who are perfect John Williams clones that they can echo his music. Just go listen to the Hogwarts Legacy soundtrack. It sounds like John Williams. It wasn't written by John Williams. It wasn't scored by him. There are people out there who can mimic his sound. Give them work. If you're gonna do this, go to those people. Have them do it. They know how to. This sounds like something I can't even place what this sounds like. It's like a bad video game, I guess. I don't know.
I sense this is only a small part of.
Okay, right there. The stands are, come on, work today. Work, go back. God damn it. Haven works, it doesn't work.
A small part.
The stands are wetting themselves over this character because she is a character from the High Republic books who started out as a Padawan, and now they're, oh my God, there she is, a Jedi Master. And they're going, there's our girl. And my response
I have a question.
Nobody knows who this bitch is.
That was my question.
Nobody knows who this is. No, not a single normie, not a single actual Star Wars fan knows who this is. And they want to talk about how she's got a lightsaber whip, and they're trying to make it so that's a big thing. Yeah, guess what? Lumia did it first 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Lumia did it first. Jeremy, you look confused.
I'm planning out another fucking video because there's some stuff going on. Constantly developing thing, and
Okay.
I'm gonna share my screen. This is
Okay,
from
well,
here, I'll
right.
do it after this.
Yeah. All right, let's finish.
I'll do it
finish
after
up.
this,
We're halfway
please.
done of this minute and 50-second trailer.
Of a larger plan.
Now, what is this? They're worshiping in black eyes. What the hell is this? That's not how the Force works. Your eyes aren't going to go all black because you've been influenced by a Force doohickey.
Some sort of shift to tip the scales.
Once again, a misconception of balance. And here's our Sith Lord.
It's time to face the past.
Time to face the past and maybe let it die, because that's their favorite phrase around here.
Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force.
What the fuck was that?
What?
The black bitch, like a crowd of people behind her.
That's from I think the flashback. Yeah, that's patriarchy chick who for saying
Yeah, it's patriarchy, bitch. And now I'm just seeing her surrounded by women, going like, "I'm Jesus."
Well,
So
listen,
fuck off.
I don't know. Maybe they're worshiping her gayness.
Is she Force Jesus?
I don't know.
She might be now, because who
No.
not Force Jesus at this point?
That is fair.
By an anonymous force. If you want to pull the thread and change everything, then pull it.
Here's our Sith Lord. All right, now, what do you think of that mask there? You guys, can you see it? It's got a mask with like teeth on it. I mean,
That's
Dermy,
not Star Wars.
You like anime. Doesn't that remind you of Chainsaw Man a little bit right there?
It reminds me. It doesn't remind me of Chainsaw Man. This
Okay.
reminds me of All for One.
There you go. That's good. Another good
Because
one.
All for One was actually based off of Darth Vader.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because the creator of My Hero Academia is a huge Star Wars fan. If you start actually like following the story of My Hero Academia, you can see some of the influences of like Obi-Wan.
I'd have
Yoda,
to go
some of
back
the-
and do that. Yeah, you know, I know.
and then
yeah.
that's why a huge fan theory was that All for One's actually Deku's father. That's a huge fan theory because of just how much it's influenced by Star Wars. So I take a look at this. It's like that's All for One's mask, and then I'm also thinking, God damn, they really love to use fucking masks in this.
Well,
they got
the
Darth
Sith-
Vader.
Yeah,
the Sith.
The
Go
Sith
ahead. Mm-hmm.
like their masks. They do like their masks in the lore. They like to wear shit or change it up.
But they look cool.
Yeah, that looks cool. Look at Star Wars: The Old Republic. There are numerous helmets you can put on to make your Sith look badass, or respirators or like that. This is just bad cosplay right here. It looks cheap. You can see how plastic this looks right here.
They're trying to make it look like menacing and intense, and oh my god, look at the cracks on it. Oh, look, he's old, he's awesome, and it's like he looks like he's walking around with his mouth like.
Now, I am not an expert on this period. That's why I say there are some who are better than I and certain things. But at this point in time, I believe Darth Tenebris should be the Darth in charge right now. The master to Plagueis. I think, and he's a Bith. That ain't a Bith.
Adam, I think your knowledge is null and void at this point because these folks just made up a bunch of nonsense and just threw it on the screen.
But Dre, they're marketing this as the prequel to the prequels. They've been marketing this as the prequel to Phantom Menace. They've started doing that in the marketing.
And I've been marketing hot farts as prequels to diarrhea. So it's all the same to me because like all the knowledge that you have or that our collective Star Wars knowledge means cock all at this point.
Yeah, I know.
Because they've taken and Adam, I know exactly what you're thinking. I know exactly where you're going because you're trying to use real Star Wars to justify Disney Star Wars existence. It can't be done.
Well, I'm not trying to justify.
No, I mean, as far as trying to be being in a timeline, because you have an analytical mind and you know what you're talking about. These people don't care, first and foremost. Secondly, even if they followed your timeline, the timeline that you know, love, and understand means nothing
Because the
anymore.
High Republic doesn't exist in that time.
It's not real.
Thing.
It's not real.
That's why I've been going around telling everybody this is fanfic. It's not Star Wars. There's nothing connecting this to real Star Wars
But there's
in any way, shape, or
lightsabers.
form. But it's based off of another fan fiction called Let's Get High Republic that fails over and over and over again, where you have some sort of non-binary, over-sexualized freaking Han Solo motherfucker that sleeps with a rock.
Oh no.
He might have
No,
actually
that
just
pi-
made that up. He might have just made that up.
No, the pilot that goes around with the rock.
What they
sleeps
what
with everything.
He does.
His bio said that he slept with everything.
You know, I
and
must
he
have forgotten
goes
that.
around with a rock.
Okay.
And the vessel, that's called the vessel.
I remember that. The ship was
So
called.
he has rock sex?
He must have rock sex because it's blatantly clear that he will sleep with anything. And he travels with a rock. He's
That's the High
sleeping with a
Republic.
goddamn rock.
And this is the High Republic. This is the end of the High Republic. And it's talking about the fall of the Jedi, but maybe the Jedi deserve it, because that's an argument they keep making this. Maybe the Jedi deserve to fall.
And that is something that always bothers me with this new Disney Star Wars nonsense. Why are classical heroes, well, and I guess this is just Disney in general, the idea of the classical heroes are somehow secretly the villains the whole time. That is really starting to boil my piss, because for anybody that understands that the classic heroes is what everybody wants to see, and that's what people want to emulate. But the idea that you're saying, oh, the guys that you think are really good aren't really that good. Now, first and foremost, no one is perfect, and I got no problem with the imperfect organization, just like George Lucas had depicted in the prequel movies. Like, yes, the Jedi, they thought they were doing right, but they were really corrupt.
There was a lot wrong with the old Jedi Order. I mean,
that's perfectly fine. But to say that they are the bad guys is insane. Because even if you have a problem with the Jedi Order, oh, go on, Dermy, I'm sorry.
There's a difference between being flawed and being bad.
Exactly.
The Jedi Order was flawed. They went down a path. They were very archaic, rigid and archaic in a lot of the ways they did. They weren't willing to change for the better. But that's how the Sith got in there and corrupted one of them and then moved on. Luke comes around and does change the order for the better.
Yep.
It's good to have material possessions and material connections.
The connections are worth it. Having the it broadens your connection to the light side, because your compassion isn't just a compassion for everything. It is actual love.
Exactly.
And it feeling that kind of emotion won't take you down the dark path. It won't cause your passions to inflame. It actually helps you get tempered. And those are lessons of Luke's New Jedi Order, which of course it didn't last. If you go by up to the legacy point, which I always say what happened with Cade Skywalker, that wasn't necessarily locked in stone, because it was comics, and comics are a tier under books when it comes to lore accuracy. So I was waiting for that stuff to get novelized, which would have locked it in as the higher tier of canon. Because remember, Star Wars canon, George's 6 movies, all the EU content in the books, video games, comic books. Because the video games had actually more lore than some of the comics did.
And then the Clone Wars.
And then Clone Wars. Well, George would put Clone Wars above. When the Clone Wars came out, they moved that above most of the EU, because the Clone Wars continued to retcon some shit, and the EU adapted. They did add some shit. Not retcon. They just kind of worked some of it in there later on to legitimize it. But that's the thing. As interesting as the legacy arc was then the legacy arc, because there are 2 legacy arcs. There's the EU novel legacy arc, and then there's the comic book legacy arc, which takes place over 100 years later. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't in love with some of its ideas, because I didn't like the fact that Luke's New Jedi Order didn't last, because Darth Krayt went balls to the walls and crushed everything. And they teased him in the in the legacy arc and Fate of the Jedi arc. They teased Darth Krayt's coming. So you knew they were going in that direction. I just kind of always thought they were going to adapt it differently and tell a different type of story than what the legacy arc went with Cade Skywalker. And
Darth Great.
Well, yeah, because then you would have gotten Darth Talon and all that kind of stuff.
Ooh, yeah, I like Darth Talon. She's hot.
I read those comics. I love Darth Great.
Yeah, I mean these are good characters, but I always had a feeling that when it got to when they eventually would have gotten to the novelization, they were gonna go at it a little bit differently than the comics did. I kind of had a feeling because there was gonna be a whole Jaina arc before that and more stuff. They were gonna actually move through the timeline bit by bit and show stuff. So I never liked the idea that Luke's Jedi Order fell apart. So I kind of just stopped where I stop right now, and it still went on. And I was waiting for the legacy arc to get novelized and see how it went there. So there, but still, one could say there's a little conflict at that point. But the point is, it was still following the rules. And Luke's New Jedi Order didn't fail because it was archaic. It failed because of basically a better strategy by Darth Krayt. It was a better strategy. The Jedi Order didn't collapse because Luke made mistakes. It collapsed because the New Republic collapsed because of Darth Krayt and his new Sith Empire. Anyway, that's way tangent. We can talk about that in 3 weeks on Star Wars Day. That's a Star Wars Day celebration. A real Star Wars Day on May 25th. That's a real Star Wars Day conversation right there. Anyway, but this looks ridiculous. We got a couple more seconds. The Acolyte.
So where's Yoda?
I don't know. They're probably going to save him for a cameo towards the end.
He's going to come out here and go like, have your try butt sex, you must.
Here's the thing, though. If they put in Yoda, when they have to, because he is active. He's 700 years old at this point. I don't know if he's actually Grandmaster in their fake timeline right here, but he's active. He's there. With all this shit going on, how can he not be aware of these events? And then in Phantom Menace be completely blind.
Good point.
To what's going on. And be surprised that there's a Sith Lord out there.
Wait a minute. You're right. Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. The idea is that Sith had not been seen in a millennia. That was the whole story.
And that's the line that the stands keep trying to say. Well, it doesn't mean that they can't be here. The show's going to show us how it did happen. Shut up. Just shut up.
But it would mean they're right. It doesn't mean that they weren't there. Yeah. It just means the Jedi never encountered them. So having the Jedi encounter them is a problem.
And that's the problem that the stands don't really want to have a real conversation about, and they keep up making excuses for why the Jedi can encounter Sith here, and the Phantom Menace doesn't line up with it. Because guess what? That's what Dave Filoni does, or Leslie Headland does with the permission of Dave Filoni. Hack up the timeline, hack up the lore to suit whatever crap you're putting out. So there it is. The latest Acolyte trailer. I'll be surprised if we get another one in the next 3 weeks, because we're 3.5 weeks away. We are June 4th. I will be there. 2-episode premiere. Pray for me.
Oh fuck! What day is June 4th?
I believe it's a Wednesday or Thursday.
So my reviews will be coming out on weekends.
I know it's not a Friday because it made me happy, because then I don't have to rush it and get it out before FNT starts. So I was very happy that it wasn't on a Friday. I'm pretty sure it's a Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm reloading this. The ratio.
Yes, the ratio. You know what? I have it right here. Well, what's yours at? Mine's at I'll bring it back up. I had it because I when I refreshed it for when we were going to do this, for me it was at 61K to 50K. It's been slowly ratioed since last night.
Mine's a little different. I'm just different by about 1K each.
Okay. All right. Well, I saved this like an hour ago. So
yeah, and also these like to dislike things. They're not perfect, but mine's at like 1K difference.
Yeah. So but either way, this thing has been ratioed. Mm-hmm. And the comments they haven't turned comments yet. Unlike Mufasa, they haven't turned off the comments yet. God damn it, wrong window. Did it again. Let's just quick look. Let's see if there's anything funny in here. The ones I've been seeing is, what are you? I'm your father, brother's, nephew's, cousin's former roommate.
What does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. What are you? Good question for another time.
Oh,
What
there's
are
a great
you
video over there.
trying? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, well, yeah, that's your video. Yeah, because I am unfortunately subscribed to your channel on this account. What are you trying to reach out with your speeders extended warranty? This is the classic thing now.
Mhm.
This is the classic burn that the real fans do. They take a really bad line of dialogue and we twist it and we make fun of it,
Villain.
we meme on it.
What are you? Villain. And I took it personally.
I mean, it's funny. So these what are yous? That's the new meme of this. What are you? What are you? And that's the thing. What are you? You're crap is what you are. You're not interesting. You're forced. It's not at all entertaining. And this thing is gonna bomb so massively. It's gonna be because Dre, you watched Bad Batch.
I did.
Not even Samba has released numbers on Bad Batch viewership.
They don't want to see that.
Look for it.
If Samba's not releasing those numbers, that means it's not even on their radar.
Exactly. Nobody watched Bad Batch.
This came like when Samba TV tracks stuff. That's actually kind of important. One of the things that I was pointing out during Doctor Who's time is it never cracked Samba TV's top 10 streaming. They didn't do anything with it. They didn't measure how much viewership it was getting during the 60th and the first Christmas special. Not once did it crack those numbers. So if it's not being on those numbers, if they're not tracking it, they don't care about it because it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. It's not relevant. That is the perfect word to use. Disney Star Wars is irrelevant. Nobody cares about it. Ahsoka's finale was down several 100,000 viewers from its peak of like 1.3. It was in the 700,000s, 800,000s. Nobody watched it. People will show the initial premiere of Acolyte will probably have a record because people are going to show up and be curious. And then myself and every other reviewer are going to rip it to shreds for our amusement and our subscribers and chat's amusements. And then it's going to just plummet while the stands are going to circle jerk themselves into ecstasy and say how peak it is. We're going to point and laugh. And then they're going to call us haters and say, oh, you don't get it. You're toxic. This and that. Real quick before Jeremy shares this. Hail! Jay Fraser 360 for 5 British pounds. Hail Roundtable, Adam and Dermy. I recommend you as guests for Nerd Wars and Angry Badger streams. Also, highly recommended Mauler's 2.5-hour Fallout review. Well,
I want to watch that. I might watch that after this when I'm prepping up new topics for videos.
Yeah, it takes me a long time to get around to a Mauler video just because it's a Mauler video. And sometimes I remember, sometimes I forget. I might be interested to look at it because Mauler had a distinct view on how Fallout's breakdowns went as opposed to how I approached it. But then again, we can all have different views. As for Nerd Wars and Angry Badger, I think I've heard of both of them, but if they ever reach out to me, hey, I will be happy to go anywhere I'm invited.
I've heard of Erwin from Nerd Wars because I believe he's the new editor for Geeks and Gamers, and he's doing his own streams, and he's a cool dude. I will be on a podcast this Thursday, the 199 podcast.
Oh, cool beans!
Which is another fan podcast. So that'll be cool.
We'll pimp that at the end of the show. So hey, I will go anywhere if invited. I will always reciprocate, but people have to invite me. I can't just. I'm not one to simply hey. Can I be in your show? That's not how I roll. But thank you, Jay Ferris, for the 5 pounds. All right, so what is this, Dermy?
So this seems like nothing. This is very simple, but I'm going to lead this down a path.
To me.
Yeah, very Japanese, very simple, kind of very chibi-ish. It's some Japanese show that is, I believe,
is that Crayon, that little Shin-chan, little weirdo fucker?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see this, you know, because you can see her right here, Alyssa Mercante. She hates things getting sexualized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see anything really sexual here?
Well,
a bunch of kid stuff.
I see Shin-chan's a little weirdo who likes to let his ass hang out in the show. So this is a very weird, surreal show.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
Here's Alyssa Mercante.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
From her.
He posted that?
Alyssa Mercante posted this.
Yes, she did.
Is this
it's not even good art.
Would you say that this is sexualizing something that doesn't really look very sexual?
Yeah.
Wait. She said that as a reply to the baby's
To the
toy
toys.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, she's a she's a creepy weirdo.
But why though?
I'm pulling this up because she's still raging and ranting about people liking Stellar Blade.
Oh, goodness gracious! People are still on that.
All right, you know what? All right. That's a decent segue because as I said before, I had a completely different show planned out for today before Thursday into Friday happened. And rest of today, with the exception of a little bit at the end for a little promotional stuff for myself and Dermy, Sony's had a bad week. That's the way I've approached this, considering as someone who hasn't played Helldivers 2, I don't have a place to fully talk about certain aspects of why it's bad, what has happened. But Sony had a bad week, starting with Stellar Blade a week ago, or sorry, a little over a week ago now, with the release and the censorship. We covered that last week. Censorship bad, censorship unnecessary. Static was here. He's in the chat right now. He was here with us. He made up some great points. It was a great discussion. But in the end, while it was bad, Stellar Blade is still a good game. While the censorship takes something away, it hasn't mangled the game. The game is still very fun. I'm having a great time. Eve is still very sexy in a lot of the outfits that are still uncensored, and it's fantastic. It's great. Gameplay is outstanding. Voice acting, story, all fun, all good. But Sony still had a bad week with PR. It started right. They promised, they lied to us. They promised an uncensored game, and they lied to us, and we pointed it out. Then during the middle of the week, they did something with a game that's coming out both for the PS5 and for Nintendo Switch, which involves the studio who makes Fate Stay Night. They have a different franchise. It's an eroge novel, which means it's basically a sexy story where characters are going to get it on and you have choices. It's not for kids. And the art book is not for kids. But Sony, in their infinite wisdom, decided to censor the art book that comes with the collector's edition on the PS5, while Nintendo is not censoring the book. So here we go. Second bad PR move. And then Thursday night happened into Friday morning. Everybody went to bed on Thursday night. Dermy, yourself probably included. Massively excited with the announcement of the new DLC extras for Helldivers. The Polar expansion, all that gear, they're showing off the weapons, doing all this stuff. New what do they call them? Orders, commands?
A new war bond was going to be dropping. We had brand new guns were planned, armors that were probably going to assist us in like the more snowy areas. We had a bunch of stuff that was actually like going on. It also was coinciding with a massive nerf that nerfed one of my favorite guns, the Eruptor. It only has
that's different shit. Yeah, that's normal shit. Rebalancing guns and stuff like that's normal shit.
The thing with like Helldivers, and they rebalance guns that don't need to get rebalanced, and then they nerf like the good guns, but then they overpower guns that nobody wants to use, nobody cares to use, and it's not because like they're not good guns. They're slow. They're not useful enough. They're just too
the cooldown suck.
Cooldown, but then like it's just too situational. So there's no point in actually grabbing them because you don't know what you're going to get. Like there's a new, I can't think what it's called, like the specialty weapons that comes down that's meant to help out. Yeah, I can't think what they're called off the top of my head, but they come down and it's meant, this particular one's meant to go up against a bunch of the flying bugs and help out with flying creatures.
But either way, you guys were hyped for this.
Oh yeah.
It was hype.
I was looking forward to the new Warbond.
Looking forward.
I love them.
And real quick, No Masquerade. I do not Celebrate. I don't think it's getting a Switch release. I have not heard that at all.
Won't get a Switch release. Might get a PC release in a year.
Probably
because I think Sony's holding on to that pretty close to the chest. I don't think they're going to be.
They'll release it on PC because it'll be profitable for them, like it was for Final Fantasy VII Remake, for God of War. They'll release it, but instead,
what it will be for 16 and then Rebirth.
Yeah, they'll get that, but no, it's not going to be a Switch release because I don't think it would even play on the Switch. The graphics are too intense for the Switch.
The
Side
hardware
note,
limitation on the Switch. That's not gonna do
Side
it.
note, when it comes to the Switch, only buy Nintendo games for the Switch. All the other games run like shit.
That's what I hear. Anyway,
Agreed.
So we got everybody excited Thursday night. Everybody goes to bed. Then we wake up Friday morning. Everybody wakes up Friday morning. I woke up late, and I was late to this. And I woke up. Actually, no, I woke up early, and I wasn't sure how to handle it. I was not sure how to handle the news that Sony announces, or what is it? Arrowhead is the name of the company, right? Arrowhead announces through Sony that suddenly, and this we are several days into this, so you've all have read this by now. We're not going to read this word for word. We've been through this. We're going to cut to the chase here. They announced that going forward, if you are going to log in and play Helldivers 2, you must use a PlayStation Network account, not PlayStation Plus Network. Two different things. This is a problem for a lot of reasons. Now, if you're like me, and obviously I have a PlayStation 5, I've had a PlayStation for over 20 years. And since they went for the PlayStation 3 and created the PlayStation Network, I've had an account. So to someone like me, it was like, whatever, because I choose console. I am not a PC gamer. But yeah, that's the thing. This is a game that was released primarily first on PC, and then it got relatively same time the console release. It's meant for really PC gamers. And PC gamers choose to play on their computer because they despise consoles. They despise Sony and Microsoft, sometimes equally, sometimes a little more. Right now, and that's something I want to get into, Sony's a little more despised than Microsoft due to their recent PR disasters. Looking at Stellar Blade, looking at other things. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I would say PC gamers, they hate PlayStation, but they're more they tolerate PlayStation a little bit more than Microsoft. Microsoft is a joke. I used to be an Xbox boy, but Microsoft's a joke. PC gamers prefer to do PC, and then they might do PlayStation, and then Switch is Switch.
But here's the thing.
Have to take it out of this.
A lot of them choose this because they don't want to even have to work with a corporation like Sony or a corporation like Microsoft. They don't want to have to do that. And there are a lot of things that go with that, because you can see right here on the side, Gary brings up an interest post talking about Sony has a history of basically getting hacked and have your personal information stolen. Now,
very true.
They're the worst at it.
Yeah, and now listen, I've obviously, since they've had my data for 20 years. I've obviously been a victim of that, but personally, I've never had any repercussions from it. Sometimes I'll change. One time, I think I changed a card once during one hack during the early 2010s. But then I just kind of ignore it whenever it happens because it's current. And some people think that for a lot of people, that's one reason. Because while a PlayStation Network account doesn't necessarily have you giving your personal information to Sony, in connection to Steam through the PlayStation Network account, as we discussed on Ballbusters on Friday, as we were having an objective, good discussion on it there, Sony will take your data from Steam. That's the thing. You're not necessarily giving it. So that's the problem a lot of people have. They don't want Sony having their personal information for their own purposes, and because they are a very because their protections are weak and they're hacked easily. Now, but here's the thing. Is them putting a PlayStation Network gate on the game a big deal? In itself, no, because I pointed out on Friday and others pointed out, they all do it. Microsoft, Ubisoft, EA, they all do it. They all generally, at some point in time with certain games, make you log in first to their specific accounts to play the game. It's stupid. It's annoying. It sucks. But when they're upfront about it, you're going to go, fine, whatever. I'm doing this, and I may choose not to play because of that. But Dermy, what happened with this exactly then?
So what happened here was about when the game was supposed to launch, they were supposed to do the PSN connection, but then they had technical difficulties, so they disabled it. They made it optional. They heavily implied that it might be required, but they had a workaround. It was kind of complicated to work it out because they made it hard for you to understand that, but it ended up being, oh, you don't need to make an account. You don't need to do any of this stuff. Okay, I won't do it. The problem is now with them implementing this is they have taken the game out of at least I don't remember how many regions.
Over 100. It's over 100. Last I heard.
It was a lot of
Some are
regions.
saying over 200, but that's I think people are.
I don't think it's over 200.
They're
I know
starting to
for sure.
embellish a little bit for their.
Yeah, I know for
grandstanding
sure they've
purposes.
taken the game out of China now, out of Russia, out of Ukraine,
The Philippines.
Philippines. They're essentially removing the game's access from these people because PSN is not in those regions. They don't exist there. And what we ended up having is there was a community manager that apparently a lot of people liked, basically said, what's the big deal? It's 120 seconds to do this. It's not this big of a deal. If you don't like this, start sending out negative comments or negative reviews, uninstall a game, do all this stuff. It's not a big deal. You've even had like the CEO say some stuff. Now he's coming out here trying
We're
to
going to get into the Arrowhead side of things in this. Trust me. That's a second bag of worms that we're going to have to unpack in a moment here.
Yeah, ultimately, the biggest thing out here is because of PlayStation doing this, they have taken money and ran. There's people that have chipped out. Myself, for example, every time those war buns come out, they're not free. It's microtransactions, but I like the game. I like the company. I chipped it out. I didn't care. And plus, some of those guns actually, it's not pay to win, but it's pay to get better assistance. And
quality of life.
Yeah, it's more quality of life stuff. Because some of those guns they're going to be helpful. They're now taking away at minimum, if you've bought all the war bonds and the game itself, you're now have taken out, let's see,
$40
$40 for the game.
More if you're and now here's the thing, if you're already playing on a PlayStation, you're also shelling out for PlayStation Plus, which is how you play online games on the PlayStation.
Yep. So you got your PSN. If you're on the PlayStation, it's this. If you're on the PC, though, minimum you're taking $80 away from people. Minimum.
Damn.
Well, okay. Minimum is 40. $80 is if you've bought everything that's come out.
People have sunk money
in.
Now there are a lot of rumors since last night. There's been a lot of confusion about refunds. And there's a lot of going on about some people are getting refunds, some people aren't. That is going to probably play out over the next 48 to 72 hours as the business week begins.
Alec Baldwin's finger tried to get a refund last night, and his response was no.
Yeah. And I mean, Static, we know Static in the chat, he's been trying for a few days now to get a refund. We know if you watched FNT, as said, he submitted to a refund. A lot of people are trying to get the refunds. But that's the thing. They are now locking it unless you get PSN, and they're trying to say it was always there, but it was hidden in tiny language, deep in the I'm clicking the box and I understand this stuff. And Dre, that's the thing. If they had been upfront about it, it would have been one thing. But they're coming around now and saying, oh, now you have to do it. We always said, but now I have to do it. And my biggest beef with this, remember, guys, I don't play the game. I was never going to play the game because I was never going to pay for PlayStation Plus to play it. That was my thing. And also, I'm not really into these types of games anyway. But they're trying to dictate how to play. How do you play your games? And Dre, you've been involved with game developers, with Arrow. And how do you think, from what you've seen so far, before we get into the Arrowhead side of this, how has the response been to this? How do you feel the response has been from Arrowhead trying to kind of damage control all of this?
Yeah, I think, okay, when I first heard this coming across my desk, I was like, okay, this is something that normally happens before I dive deep into it.
That's what I mean. This is boilerplate contractual stuff that has happened. That's why I wanted you to confirm that for me.
Yes. So like if you were playing pick something simple that I'm very familiar with. Let's just say you're about to get Fallout 4 and then you have to make a BNet account or something so it can link to it. That it's standard. Or if you're playing Assassin's Creed, you make a Ubisoft account. Like that used to be very standard.
But EA wanted Mass Effect account access back in the day.
100%. Like these are things that have been standard in the gaming industry for many years. Here's the problem with what happened here. Helldivers 2, they're adding a new criteria that the original folks did that upon purchasing of the game did not initially agree to. That's the problem. This is now I don't know if Arrowhead has just made a deal with Sony. I'm not 100% sure if that's something that might have been in the works that just never pulled the trigger on. I'm not behind the scenes. I won't know. But as far as the consumer is consumer in this aspect will be consumer, not customer in this situation.
Yeah.
But as far as a consumer base is concerned, I have been hoodwinked.
Yes.
Especially for those of the PC community that take that stuff very, very seriously. Especially when it comes to Sony or Microsoft, any of them that deals with the consoles, anything that deals with the consoles, the PC community takes it very, very seriously. So the idea that they feel like that they've sprung this up on them, and now I have to make this account in order to then connect with Sony, which has, as you've already made eloquently, has hacking problems and has a PR nightmare, not to mention they're all into this censorship nonsense, which the PC community wants absolutely nothing to do with. And now they can actually have their games censored technically legally in those regards. This is something that should have been put up in the forefront. This is should have if they were straight up about it, just like if Ubisoft or Bethnet or any of the other accounts that have made, or Rockstar, whoever, have made with the customer base, this I think would have become a non-issue in my personal opinion.
Point. If it had been up front, it wouldn't be an issue, because a lot of people are saying if I had known about this in the first place, I wouldn't have done it. And I don't know if they're being honest about that or if they're just talking with emotion right now. But to make the choice is the thing. If choice and knowledge at the same time. There's the other fact of the Sony terms of service. Before I get that, Jeremy, say what you want to say.
Well, one, like a lot of people, even Kel, has said like they were upfront about it at the beginning. They said they heavily implied that it was going to be mandatory, but by giving the workaround, it was always optional. Heck, even in this thing, they said, well, we made it optional. It wasn't important. It wasn't necessary. But the thing is, I do think a lot of people wouldn't have bought it, because if they knew they had to get that PSN account, people in China, Russia, UK, Philippines, so on and so forth, they wouldn't have chipped out the money because they couldn't play it.
That's what I want to talk about. My next point after what I'm going to make now, the legitimacy factor of being angry about this, because what you have to worry about now is if you don't want to get involved with Sony suddenly, and this is something that I didn't personally take into account, I had to have others express it for me to realize it, as somebody who has always been dealing with it either unconsciously or willingly. Sony terms of service. It's one thing to deal with Steam terms of service or Arrowhead terms of service, because you know what you're dealing with. But suddenly now, if you are signing into the PlayStation Network and you are, let's just say, maybe getting all gamer wordy when you're talking, suddenly you have to deal with Sony terms of service. And they're going to try and come down, because that's the excuse they're hiding behind in this: player safety. They're doing this for player safety. No, you're doing this for control. You're doing this to tell players how to play their game, and you're doing this for your own benefit, not necessarily to make money, as others have pointed out, but to boost your numbers on the PlayStation Network. Now, there have been some theories that they're trying to connect it to the fact that Sony wants to buy Paramount with certain investors right now. I'm not sure that that's connection, because the whole buying of Paramount, that's going to take the rest of the year, if not longer, with how that works. And then the whole investigation approval process by the FCC. There has to be antitrust investigation. And that's not this type of thing wouldn't have an instantaneous effect on that. That's why I'm saying I'm taking that out of this equation. But this is Sony still dealing with the fact that they want this market share of streaming games. They want this market share of this network. They want to get in on Steam because physical copies are down. People are buying digitally more. And sometimes the Sony exclusives aren't always selling that well on the PlayStation Network, as opposed to then getting on Steam. Because I would say this is an obvious prelude to putting other Sony games on Steam, like Stellar Blade. Because if they can work out with Steam and Arrowhead hooking up the PlayStation Network, then bam, you're going to get an exclusive like Stellar Blade on there.
It was announced that Ghost of Tsushima. I cannot say
Tsushima.
Ghost of fuck it. What we just said. That game will be required to have a PSN connection, because they've changed their also rules via PlayStation recently too.
And there, you can people know that going in.
And you give them a choice.
And that's a single player game, though. Although there is a multiplayer aspect to it, but people play that mostly as a single player game. I've never heard anybody really going on about the Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer stuff on that. People play that for the single player story. Hell, I'm still playing it. It's been a year. I was recording it. I have to finish that up for the channel. But it's a great game. But people knew that going in. This is different. They didn't know going in. But then there's the other aspect of it that you guys brought up a second ago. There is a reason, in my opinion, for a lot of people to be angry. You were lied to. You were, as Dre said, hoodwinked. This is not what you signed up for. And now, suddenly, something you've put your money into has been stolen. That's legitimate anger. Not war, not wanting to have Sony have access to your information, legitimate. But I feel like, and I even replied to somebody on Twitter, which like I rarely do to something like that, but I did it because there are people out there who are, I think, just, and I'll use the term, grifting on the hate boner that a lot of people have for Sony, trying to say that, trying to build on part of, you're angry about this. We're angry about Celebrate, so you need to be angry about this because you're angry about Celebrate and Helldivers. And people are getting screwed over in both games. And I replied, wait a minute. Helldivers 2, people are getting screwed. But nobody got screwed in Stellar Blade. Because even though we've protested and commented and done discussion and shine the light on the inappropriate and unnecessary uncensored Celebrate, the game is being lauded by everybody who's playing it. Nobody's hating it. So when people come out and say Stellar Blade players got screwed and now Helldiver 2 players got screwed, no, that's grandstanding. And that's kind of the problem I have. That's why on Ballbusters, and Jeremy, you can attest to this, on Ballbusters, I did my best, and we had a much larger panel with a lot of varying points of views to try an objective, organized discussion on this where we weren't raging out. Just like today, we're trying to have an objective discussion. I got called out on my video by somebody who said, oh, yeah, so let all the greed and corruption, all this stuff happen, and then you just want to give them a nice talking to. Yeah, that's going to help. And my response was, well, what has your rage done? What has your boycott done? What has your refund done? Yes, a refund is an important thing if you can get it. Not giving your money is an important thing if you want to make a statement that way. But after that, it's a silent move. No one knows you did it. Sony doesn't actually even care that you did it at this point. But what they do care about is a Grum's petition. What they do care about is us having a constant discussion and talking about saying one side, and us who are a guy like me who's a legitimate Sony guy. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a white knight. I am critical, but I am a Sony guy. I choose to be. It's my console I choose. I will criticize. I will talk about it. It means something. So don't throw shade at me or anybody else that wants to have an open, intelligent, objective discussion on everything that's wrong. And just because I'm not raging and screaming and doing all kinds of internet bullshit. So I want to call that out. And I want to bring it to you guys on that. That's one of my biggest problems with this whole situation. There are people who are legitimately angry and make legitimate points, but then there are those who are grandstanding and soapbox preaching just so that they can look cool and be like, yeah, that's right, man. You tell them, down with Sony, down with Sony, just so they can get the catchphrase out there. And that's what,
because there is, I will also like to parrot what you said. There are the black pills that are like,
yeah,
fuck it all, burn the system down, don't give them any of your money. And there's those things. I would say, I think Bug had the best point in all of this on Friday. The worst part about this is it doesn't matter what you do. If you refund the game, you're hurting Arrowhead Studio, or in Stellar Blade situation,
exactly.
yeah, or in Stellar Blade situation, you're hurting Shift Up.
Shift Up.
You don't you don't really hurt Sony. Yeah, you're taking a little bit of money away from Sony, but
it's just
you're
the distributor, the publisher.
Yeah,
these are some of these are AA companies. They're not AAA.
They're
companies.
both AA companies.
Yeah, these are AA companies who need the support of the fans, who need to get this so that they can improve and get the money to keep making good games. Because despite everything, these are still good games at their heart and the core. And Jeremy, you're absolutely right. You got to realize Sony's doing stuff like that. You're punishing the developer. You're not punishing Sony. What we do have in this discussion, talking about the PR nightmare, that punishes Sony. That hurts their stock. That hurts their thing. They want to look clean and tidy to purchase Paramount right now. Go ahead. You finish your point.
I will say Static. Yeah, the guy, the CEO of frickin' Helldivers
That's
is
our
a
next point, Static. Yeah,
retard.
that's our next
Holy
point. We're gonna get into
shit.
that.
But the game, so Helldivers is freaking good. I played it after Ballbusters with Bug and Kel just to prove we don't need this to crossplay. That was the point that we've now established multiple times, because Bug's on his PlayStation. I don't have a PSN account. Kel has a PSN account. We played together perfectly fine. The game's still good. I loved it.
Yep.
But it sucks what they're doing, because I'm not signing up for a PSN account after the fact.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any of this stuff. And then you're taking the game away from everybody. It's like Bug said, no matter what we do, Sony's won. Now, Bug took it in a weird direction. Like, if these companies go under, they'll come in and just buy them up. I don't know.
I'm not sweeping into that conspiracy. That's going. I don't play conspiracy games. But let me ask you this: if you had been upfront about the PSN thing, would you have done it?
Maybe. I probably would have done it and been like, whatever.
I think FOMO would have gotten the better of you, and you would have done it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
you're
because
probably
I
not
almost
wrong.
FOMO'd on it. I almost FOMO'd on it. The only thing that kept me doing is I wasn't. My criticism of Sony, I'm not going to give them money to play an online game when all the PC players can play with each other for free. I ain't doing that shit. Sony can suck multiple dicks for that shit. I don't care. And Frank, you're absolutely right. These guys don't deserve our loyalty. They earn it, and they by good products. But if they put out a good product, I do want to support them. But that's absolutely right. Some people, but I'm just saying, if you like what the company's doing, what if you're choosing to boycott or refund or this and that, you're not hurting Sony. You're hurting people. I'm just trying to lay all the options out there for that. But now Static has brought it up, and once again, Dre, I will require, since you've been in rooms for these development companies, Grums, I couldn't get them all. I saw them on video from Geeks and Gamers laying it all out. I couldn't find out because I suck at surfing Twitter the best I could. Grums
That Park Place has a really good one.
Oh, they have the article. Yeah, you're right. They did have the article. I forgot about that. There is the Park Place article. Can you grab that? Or no,
Yeah.
You grab that. Well, I'll just show this and we'll go and jump to that one. Grums has collected a great commentary on the people who are working at Arrowhead. And these people are scum.
Oh.
These are people who are attacking the fans. I mean, they are telling you, oh, go cry if you can't play it anymore. Oh, just do this. Oh, just that. Oh, who are getting political in some ways. And then change you, like this one, Baskinator, had very different icons in her profile just a couple short days ago. Certain flags.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one.
They've taken that down. And also then this one right here, Spitz, who was very denigrating to fans, but now is trying to walk it back. There's been a lot of bad behavior from the Arrowhead team. And the CEO, while saying some good things, has been waffling a lot and trying to promise that. Arrowhead, this is where I want to come around to this now on this point right now. Everything that Sony has done is despicable in terms of marketing and behavior. And I attribute that as much as them being not the greatest company in the world, but also bureaucratic nonsense and people being put of charge and shit who have no business running this. How hard would it have been to have a smart individual at the head of the marketing team say, hey guys, I've done some research, or my interns, my assistants did some research, and PC gamers have an issue with PlayStation. Why don't we let them all know that they're going to have to use this account right up front?
Yeah, that would have saved a lot of heartache and pain.
Troubleshooting 101.
Yep.
Know your customer base.
Yep.
Know who you're dealing with. Know their likes and dislikes. It's not hard. These people love to get their little surveys all the time. That wouldn't have been that hard. So that could have solved. But you take that aside, and then you get Arrowhead having. I mean, Dermy, you've done multiple videos on this shit, much more than I have, because I wasn't playing Helldivers, so I felt it wasn't my place to comment on.
I've only done 2 Helldivers videos so far.
But you play Helldivers, so you have a better point to speak on in this shit. Because I didn't play it, I didn't do the research because I had no horse in the race. So give us a quick breakdown of what these community managers and these associates have been doing for the past month or two, actually.
It's weird because, give me a moment. This kind of started up, and I'll come back here because you have one of them. I'm just gonna share my full screen because these community Static said it in chat. I've said it a few times now. Arrowhead's run by a moron. Because this one came out shortly before I went to Vegas. Helldivers 2 community manager declares game is pretty woke and reveals game was being individual she deemed bigots and transphobe. This whole girl Baskinator was going on a rampage saying the game's woke, we're banning bigots, we're doing all this stuff. This was a serious controversy for a while, and then it went away because she shut the hell up.
They're all in hiding now, too. Each and every one of them, they're all in hiding the past 72 hours.
Yeah, Baskinator, I have it open. I've been watching the Discord. They don't speak. Baskinator made one thing in like a info drop and then ran away. She has a shock blocked on Discord too, and he's never interacted with her, which is always interesting
I would say,
to me.
wait a minute, it's shock, but okay, if he's ever interacted with her, then okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. So we have Baskinator, but this one came out, recently. But here's the newest one, Splits. And they've recently walked back their comments, but the problem is the comments initially were just so
disconnected.
And the CEO came out today and said, is this the point where I do the whole you don't have phones bit? Trying to clown on the situation, but it is what it is. But they started coming out here, and Spitz was just completely saying, hey, it's not that big of a deal. We're mainly doing this because we want to ban people. We want to be able to ban people.
So wrong. So, I mean,
yeah.
In the climate of interaction with your customers, especially because early on, when the initial anti-Helldiver campaign started, for people who were angry that you guys are having so much fun spreading democracy, they were really good about listening to what you guys were saying and really responsive to the customer base. And now to have this begin, it's as though, was this always you? And I feel as though no matter what Sony has done, if this was a time bomb waiting to happen, I feel like. Because these people could only keep a lid on it for so long.
Well, like Baskinator, I can pull up her account. She took out all the flags. She still has her, but she's taken out a lot of information. Sometimes it does stuff. If I disable streamer mode, click on it, they're all back. It's weird. Like these people they're broken in the head. But this one was like a fan favorite community manager. And their whole thing is like, hey, we just want to block people. We want to give the ability to block them because we can't block them because their example was Steam allows people to be called John like 5,000 times and PSN doesn't. So that's how it comes off. She does this whole little like, here's a little thing where we said it was going to be required, even though I still haven't been able to find this on the actual Steam page itself. And it's just a constant back and forth of him basically freaking out. And here's this one. It's not like this is the first or even 14th mainstream game to require a third-party account to take a couple minutes to create. But it's a deal breaker to have to take 120 seconds out of your day to enter an email and password and then forget about it, change your Steam review, and make your displeasure known on a platform where it matters. The thing is, though, this is in their Discord. This is
This is the problem.
Discord.
Go ahead.
Like Adam, you mentioned, like, is it a ticking time bomb? Sure. There are things that everyone understands called NDAs. And in those NDAs, there are, depending on the company, some are NDAs that you sign in which sometimes is legally that you cannot say anything disparaging about the company and the things that you are a part of. That's sometimes part of it. The sheer fact that this individual and others like this individual are telling the paying customer to now walk away. As if I was the boss, unless the boss is crazy too, I guess they're insane, whatever.
The CEO is kind of just retarded.
Okay, fine. Shareholders, if there are any, should be coming down on somebody's neck saying, "What the devil are you doing?" Now, in that vein, are these psychopaths everywhere? 110%. And you see what happens when they kept their mouths shut? They were making quadrillions of dollars. And now they have blown a bad situation even further. It's a very, very simple way they could have cleaned this up. Very simple.
We're sorry.
Boom! Boom! Hey, our bad. Why go the whole bigot anti-human route? Why go? This is not a political thing. They're not like if you want to say that in some cases some things are political. Oh, there's a woman involved. Blah, blah, blah. This one is strictly business. These people of the PC community are not upset because of fill in the blank of social justice.
No, you
These
took our
people
money.
are mad because they got screwed.
Yeah.
It's simple.
And well, it's solved simply though. You say you're sorry, fix the problem, and then give everybody a bunch of free shit. That's what you do.
This post here is just so tone deaf because this comes from their official Discord. I have it opened up right now. This is the moment where this is the place where you legitimately let your voice be heard to these community managers, and you get one come out here like, do it on a platform that matters, do it on the Steam account. But no, we're supposed to report to you, and you're supposed to report to the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
How if we don't report to you, if people aren't spamming their Discord saying how pissed off they are, if people aren't doing this, if people aren't adding these community managers over and over again, because they have some awful community managers, how are their voice supposed to be heard?
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
This is just split saying, well, we don't want to do our job. And I get it. Okay, they have a new one. Helldivers community manager comes out and said, but it basically came out and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. You know, like Adam, I didn't know people were going to be out of money. I'm sure we're going to work through a way of fixing this.
Why
but
not?
There's
start
no
with
way
that?
to fix it.
But
why not start with that? And
your image is done. It's tarnished.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is say, we're sorry, we're going to fix this, and then we're going to give you free shit. Not how hard is it to do that? Not basically, oh, why don't you just cry some more? Why don't you do this? No, that's not how you speak to your customer base, especially when you are now in the wrong. I mean, like it or not, Arrowhead is complicit in this. They knew this was coming. Dre, there's no way they didn't know this was coming.
No way. Impossible. It's absolutely impossible. This is something that has to be in the works at least a year in advance. This is not something like Sony, unless there was a hostile takeover that I don't know about. This is something that has to be implemented far in advance. Now, why they didn't pull the trigger on it early at release, who knows?
There were technical issues. No, they were having it's confirmed there were technical issues where people logging in with the PSN, it was causing a server connection problem.
Okay.
So they couldn't make it. So when they took that out, then all the crossplay was working just fine.
Got it. Okay. So they ran. So see, plain and simple. That means that this was supposed to be implemented in the very beginning.
But they didn't tell anybody that, and that's the point. And that's the fact that's what Dermy just showed us. That's the disconnect. That's the blatant disrespect of saying we don't care.
Oh, 100%.
And we don't care that we false advertise something, and we're not going to try and make it right. And you can come back and try and salvage and spin it all you want, but no, it's already out. This is the internet. It's forever. We're not going to forget. Internet autism is going to remember every little bit.
You have the CEO here.
Okay.
This is the actual CEO of Arrowhead. And he tweets out, is this the moment to tweet what? You guys don't have a phone? I can respect him at least trying. He's a retard. That's what this boils down to. He's just a retard. He says, on a serious note, we are talking solutions with PlayStation, especially for non-PSN countries. Your voice has been heard, and I'm doing everything I can to speak for the community, but I don't have final say. More will come, and if I click this, I lose all this because this is some random guy. Simply ask, why are you acting all blameless? Like you should have known for probably years that PSN would be a requirement. And I bet it was your call that would not be enforced in the beginning to help with server load. And you get him right here. I do have part I do have a part to play. I'm not blameless in all of this. It was my decision to disable account linking at launch so that players could play the game. I did not ensure players were aware. I'm not sure players were aware of the requirement, and we didn't talk about it enough. We knew for about 6 months before launch that it would be mandatory for online PlayStation titles. Then why didn't you tell us all?
Then
That's all
He's
you had
at
to
least
do.
admitting fault.
this just proves incompetence. That's the other thing. So there are a lot to blame in all of this. Sony's to blame for their basically draconian corporate moves, but Arrowhead is not blameless because the dude just revealed it was always going to happen. But then you have his community managers behaving like shitheads and showing you they don't care about their customers that have been very appreciative for the past 4 months on everything.
Yeah. Oh, they loved them.
Yeah.
Fuck. That Baskinator thing. Yeah, there was maybe a few people that left because of Baskinator, but Baskinator got told to shut the hell up real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. You barely see them post anything anymore.
So that's why I put it out there in terms of this problem. This was always going to happen, whether it was Arrowhead imploding because it's obviously being managed poorly and being run by a retard, and Sony was always going to go ahead with their plan. And it boils down to people were not so, I said they weren't so much lied to, they were just misled.
Yeah.
Which it's a step down from lying. It's the same ballpark. It's not like the Stellar Blade where we were lied to about the uncensor. We were lied to about that, and that's why we're angry. And if you wanted to refund it, not buy it at all, that's your choice. But my answer to that was, if you're doing that, it's not so much you're hurting Shift Up, you're letting the woke games journalists, you're letting the people behind them who hate gamers, you're letting them use you as a tool in that sense.
In this moment, it's better to say that this situation was people were ignorant of what was about to happen.
Yeah.
Because I would say they misled them.
Who reads the fine print?
It wasn't just the fine print. It was like, hey, we said it was going to be mandatory at launch, and then we disabled it. It was my call to disable it. Okay, I never thought we were going to bring it back. I never told everybody that we were going to bring it back. I never said it was going to be mandatory over and over again. I just disabled it.
Yeah,
and now my community's blossomed, and
I want to bring up a point that Static made last night on Chatterday. It was working. It was working. Everything was working. You didn't need to do this. You're only doing this because Sony made it a contractual obligation that you knew about and you didn't tell us.
And you know what you do in that moment? You go to them, you say, this game's your most popular game right now besides Stellar Blade. Everything else you're putting out is honestly flopping or having issues. Why don't we renegotiate our contract and just let things work, and we might give you a little bit more cut.
I'm sure there was a lawyer loophole in there somewhere. I'm sure.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of loopholes. They probably could have renegotiated. They probably could have done this. Let your game grow. And
it's a massive, unfortunate situation where, in terms of Helldivers 2, the players, the customers have been screwed over, and there are reasons to be legitimately angry. But focus on those reasons. Be productive in the conversation. I mean, apparently today, Grums tried to add the Helldivers 2 thing to his Stellar Blade petition, but people said, no, please don't conflate those issues. Please keep them separate. So he's going to do a second petition that isn't about the Helldivers 2.
Yeah,
and
I would say
they're two separate
similar,
issues.
but
it's Sony being a dick,
similar
but it's
enough.
two separate dick issues.
Yeah, they're similar on the sense of Sony, but they are two separate issues. One is censorship to a game that's really good. The other one is let us keep our fucking game to a game that's really fucking good.
Yeah. And the fact that it is, like you said, it's not a full live service, but there is a live service thing where people have already put money in and they can't get that money back. You can't get your money back for implementing the war bonds and the weapons. So like it's integrated into the game. It's done. You can't, it's like water.
Trade 8 times.
When you pour water into something, it mixes. You can't separate it once you put 2 different bottles of water into a jug. It's done. What'd you say about Static?
Well, it's like Static pointed out.
Yeah.
8 times he's tried to get a refund.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin's finger couldn't get a refund live last night. Nobody can get a refund at this point. So if we can't get a refund and we played the game, and
only the people who have had the country pulled are getting refunds. I think that's a rumor going around.
I don't think that's a rumor. There's no proof of that
I'm saying
right
it's
now.
a rumor. That's a rumor.
Yeah, there's no sign of this actually being like legitimate. There's nobody actually coming out here and being like, yeah, you can get you can get your refund if you're in these countries. Nobody's saying that. That's why you had Splits say they're gonna find a way to get you guys to actually play the game. That doesn't break TOS because people are also scared. The only other answer they've been getting,
it's a scary.
The only other answer they've been giving out to people is get a VPN and sign up for a region that breaks TOS.
Sony TOS, yeah.
And like we pointed out Friday, they have like Sony keeps changing their TOS. Sony is implementing new stuff to ban people. It is
everybody. That's the scary things about TOSs in general. YouTube, Sony, Google, all of them. Twitter, they all change their TOSs constantly. That's one of the things about that we've been complaining about on YouTube for years. We never know what we're doing wrong when something because you change your TOS so much. And
look at what Static said.
Yeah. I mean, if they remove it, everything's fine.
Yeah, I re-download. I got Master Chief Collection because I'm going to play Reach right now because I need an FPS at least. I need something that's I know how to play like crazy.
That's a funny thing because I don't have that need, so I don't completely understand that need to play an FPS because I'm not wired that way as a gamer. So
I only play certain FPSs. I don't like Call of Duty, but I like Halo. I love Destiny. I've been enjoying Helldivers because I like that sci-fi aesthetic. You can do more stuff within that. I'm not a fan of Call of Duty and how that works. Hell, I'm debating going back to Fortnite.
I was going to say,
and I hate Fortnite.
Fortnite has kind of receded in everybody's attention for the past 4 months between Helldivers and a couple other things. Everybody's going to go back to fucking Fortnite because, as Jeremy says on Geeks Gamers all the time, it's the 6 that is never broken and always delivers. It's that reliable, not too fancy, not too pretty, but it's there for your delivery.
You have Shock was playing Valorant last night. I don't know what Static wants to go back to GTA. He wants to do other stuff now. Stuff that we know work, but we want to play Helldivers. We want to enjoy Helldivers. Helldivers is fucking fun. Just give us Helldivers.
Yeah. Now I've said this as much, I think, a couple times. I personally think that if things have been going along normally, this hadn't happened. I kind of felt in another couple months by the time the summer's over that the Helldivers craze was gonna lessen a little bit. It was gonna level out and not be as fervent as it with the fan base has been. It would get down to like the base population that would just always play it. But now my prediction is going to artificially come true because of this. And I wanted to see if that was going to happen in the long run on its own. What in the end player base would be after the initial fire is finally burned out and everybody's either played it enough and ready to move on to another game. But now, for my own personal curiosity, I'll never have that answer because this has skewed history in a sense. It's changed the course of history. Helldivers 2 will now always be marred by this. And frankly, I doubt there'll ever be a Helldivers 3. And even if there was, all you would probably go, yeah, fuck you. We're not going to play this again. We're not going to play this game. We're not going to play this political sign-up gatekeeping game with you again.
If they can manage to find back away and go like it's gonna stay optional, if they can manage that, if they can get to the point where they actually say it's gonna be optional because they're talking, it's not their final decision. If they can get to that point, I think it'll be the greatest win and the game will still be popular.
I think the damage might have been done because some people are going to hold a grudge. Just like there's some people I will never deal with this again. And
there's always going to be people that hold a grudge. Those people will always exist. And I don't want to drag his name, but Fracture Filter, for example, love the dude. He's an awesome dude, very knowledgeable on Star Wars lore, sci-fi lore in general. He refused before this debacle. He was refusing to go back to Helldivers because of the Vascinator situation. It's like, well, they took care of that. So you're always going to have those people that do hold the grudge and won't go back no matter what. But in this moment, I'm sitting here like, if they can get rid of this, if they can steer this course away from the PSN, I'll go back. Right now, I'm still undecided. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I like this game. I really do.
Well, if you can't get a refund, then it's just gonna sit there. This is what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. I mean, it's a shame because even though I wasn't into it, which is why I have stayed away from most Helldivers commentary,
Mhm.
I was never gonna play it. It's just not my thing. Even though running around with you guys, you know, killing bugs, killing Terminators would have been fun. It would for me it would have been like fun for 5 minutes because I want to go back to the more structured stuff that I'm used to, either single player or stuff like Final Fantasy 14, where it's a world that I'm more comfortable in. It's a gameplay style I'm more comfortable with. And not to say that I'm bad at those games, they don't satisfy me like they satisfy you. I don't get satisfaction on that.
Person I feel worse about, Cloud. Poor guy bought the game this week, was going like, yeah, I get to play with everybody. Fuck.
Well, that's the story of Cloud, isn't it? Anyway,
Yes.
That's the story of Cloud.
Poor Cloud.
Anyway, so any final thoughts on this? Because this story is going to be developing. We're going to probably come back to it. Probably, I'll come back to it some way, somehow, some point this week, I'm sure. And we'll probably do a recap next weekend when Jed gets back. We'll say, okay, here's what, because Jed plays Helldivers. So him not being here is missing his perspective on this because he was playing with the Geeks and Gamers crew. He was playing with some other people. He has his thoughts on it. So we'll probably get his thoughts next weekend because he has been out of town for days. So he's actually disconnected from this crap for a minute. So we'll probably come back to next week and cover it again, see where we are. Go ahead.
I haven't seen actually Beardo play it.
I've seen Beardo play it. Since it happened.
Yeah, since it's happened.
You heard. Well, we all saw it, and I think somebody read his tweet last night. He's like, "Oh, fuck it." He's like, "Fuck it." And remember, Beardo's a bigger Sony guy than I am. He will borderline White Knight for that shit. Spider-Man 2. That game is great game play, fun to play, but god awful otherwise. And Beardo loved it and defended it to the last moment.
Beardo is a Sony bro.
Yeah, he is Sony bro. He's a Sony bro. He is a Sony bro.
And he is pissed.
Yeah, and he's one of the biggest in our fellowship circles of gamers. He's one of the biggest. Let's go. He's one of the biggest guys for let's go and let's do this. And I mean, him and Jed played it like twice that last week or something like that. Jed was jumping on.
I played it with freaking Beardo last Friday.
Yeah,
for we were playing it all the time. I was playing it before Ballbusters.
It was your regular pre-Ball Busters ritual for the past month. It's been the regular ritual for you guys. And I think
after Ballbusters, and then playing it on Saturdays.
Yeah. And the biggest crime right now is that you'll never get to play with Yellow Flash. That's the biggest crime for you.
Yeah, biggest crime. I'll never get to play with Flash because Flash has said, fuck it.
Yep, Flash is done. Dre, do you have any final thoughts on this for now?
No, yeah, you guys pretty much covered it. Ultimately, this is a fumbles on so many sides. PR nightmare. The folks that spent their money feel like they got screwed, and they have. And now this is gonna be forever tainted. And will the studio end up closing down from this? It's a strong possibility. It seems like a trend. Once you betray your player base, because video games are different than movies, and once you betray your player base, your studio goes under. So,
and that's something
it wouldn't surprise me.
I brought this up on Friday. We're also hypersensitive over this shit. That when we react to this, we're kind of locked in on how we feel.
Yep.
And that's why I've been, and some people people can criticize me on this if you want. That's why I've been preaching: be objective and know why you're angry about this shit.
Yep.
Don't be hyperbolic. Don't conflate the issues. Don't conflate the Stellar Blade and Helldivers just to grandstand and look cool on Twitter. Don't do that. Just so you can be seen as a culture warrior that shits on the corporation and hates all this. Just don't be genuine about your reasoning.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that people like to conflate. People like to try to do stuff just to be a culture warrior, culture bro. And there's times to do it and there's times not to do it. And in this situation, there's no culture war in this one. This is just solely getting fucked.
Yeah, Sony is not about culture war. It's at least in this sense, it isn't. When there's censorship, when they censorship for Stellar Blade, that is culture war. This is just bad practices. This is stupidity. This is corporate mindset, only seeing what they want to get out of this and not realizing that they're hurting their overall plan of success by screwing over the customer base. And this is Arrowhead not realizing that there was a way to avoid all of this if you've been upfront and not misled your customers, your players, the gamers, and understanding that, let's be honest, I would assume that the PC player base is bigger than the PlayStation 5 player base for the simple fact that the PlayStation 5 install base is small by comparison. It's not even as big as the PlayStation 4 install base.
And we've talked about that. Me and you have talked about that in regards to Final Fantasy Rebirth. The reasons that it hasn't performed as well as they wanted it to perform.
Yeah.
Smaller player base is one of the biggest things.
And according to some numbers I've seen, FF Rebirth hasn't done horribly. It's just done average.
Yeah, it has not done what they wanted it to do. They wanted it to be on par, if not a little lower than Remake,
but it didn't move consoles. People weren't buying Rebirth, buying a PS5 just to play Rebirth. Now I made sure I had my PS5 so I could get to Rebirth, because that helped cross my threshold of, do I have 5 games or more I'm going to play? Yes. Now between my some downloaded games and on my shelf, I've got way more than 5 PS5 exclusive type games. We're not just talking a PS4 game that I can play on the PS5. I've got a decent sized library for me of PS5 games. So I was fine. But there are some people who weren't just going to buy the PS5 to get Rebirth. I mean, you almost did it. You almost did it. You didn't.
Almost.
You didn't, because now you're gonna because you did it not, you played Remake on Steam, you want your carryover information from that to carry over and influence your free stuff that you'll get from reading the data of Remake to Rebirth. So now you're locked in on Steam.
I need to finish grinding out all that stuff and finding all those things still. So
just completing it is all you need for the stuff. What you'd be doing would just be for personal satisfaction at this point.
Yeah, personal satisfaction. I want all those trophies. I'm missing one sword and a couple other weapons.
Yeah, see, I missed one. Well, I missed one Tifa glove. If I'm ever going to go back and get the complete all the abilities trophy, I have to go back and get that one. But that's the point. You're locked into it on Steam, and Rebirth will get on Steam, and that will probably improve the numbers. But that's the thing. These people don't understand that, or the people, by people I mean Arrowhead, didn't understand that if you're appeasing the PS5 crew, that's only 70 million units out there, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's 70 million.
That's why.
And PC, and hundreds of millions of people have a PC. Hundreds of millions.
Because people have talked about this. COVID happened, and a lot of people decided to start PC gaming. A lot of people decided to just go there, and some downsides from that came, and more digital downloads, more digital sales. But because of that, that's how a lot of gamers are playing now. They want a PC. They started doing YouTube. They want to stream it. They want to do this stuff.
I heard for all of us that go buy physical media, PC gamers don't buy physical media. Everything
they can't.
They can't, because there is no physical media anymore. And that's a whole different discussion of, wow, as much as you want to talk about how much you want your freedom, you're now locked into digital games for life. Because the world let PC gaming go away from digital. I mean, go away from physical and go solely digital.
And unless you're a top, I would say a mid-tier streamer, unless you're a mid-tier streamer that can afford to buy a new console every generation, people like us, I can't afford to go out there and buy a brand new PS5 all the time.
I had to wait till I could buy my PS5 on Amazon so I could make payments on it. And it took me still 4 months to pay it off, 4 or 5 months to pay it off. I didn't officially own my PS5 until half a year after I had it.
Yeah, like I'll buy a new Nintendo Switch if they drop the Switch 2 or Switch Pro or whatever the heck they're gonna do there. But
longevity of a Nintendo console. Look how long the Switch has been out. I mean,
until then, and those are usually cheaper than an Xbox or a PlayStation.
But you're about to build a PC on stream for everybody, and that's already last year. What you're running up over $5,000 right now.
I need to get about minimum $5,000 is what I need to save.
And for me, if I wanted to upgrade my computer, it would cost minimum $7,000 to get because yes, I'm an Apple guy. Dermy's gonna shit on me for that every time. But
Yeah.
the way Apple has changed their computers, they don't do video cards anymore. It's just massive super processor that does everything. Like these processors they've changed together, it does everything. And that's expensive to get something that's going to last a long time. So computers are not cheap.
Mm-hmm. And your average computer lasts about 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years, then you need to get upgraded. That's why people
Unless you've gotten one
it.
of these super top end ones that will keep going for a long time. And that's what I try to do. I try to get the best one I can so that it can keep going for a few years beyond its user date. But
that's also that's also why people have been building their own, because then they can just take a part out, replace it.
Yeah. So I mean, while gaming itself is not an expensive hobby, you just buy your game and play it. At certain points in our gamer lifetime, we have to make investments to continue the hobby. And that's where in a moment, it's a snapshot, it gets investment. But sometimes we will save for it. We plan for it. We wait for it. But for something like Helldivers to say, oh, sorry, you need to do this, that ruins your plans for it. And it ruins for people not understanding that your install base, your biggest base, the biggest block of people playing your game are the ones you just pissed off. Because at least I would say conservatively, half the PC base of Helldivers 2 are going to say fuck you, even if they still have access, and not go back. And then you've lost, because remember, we here in America, there are only 350 million people here in America. While we are one of the biggest countries land-wise in the world, our population in comparison to this world, there's still another 7.5 billion people around the world. And Arrowhead and Sony just told 177 companies, as somebody in the chat said a while ago, they just told them to fuck off.
Uh-oh.
What? Is this pertaining to what we're talking about or something else? Before I move on to our final topic.
Baskinator spoke.
Oh, okay. What you got?
And people are dragging her hardcore.
Real quick. Shut up, Static. Anyway, okay. All right, go ahead. What's she saying? Are we allowed to? Is this YouTube safe? Is it YouTube safe?
It is still YouTube safe. She's just saying we didn't make it optional. We disabled it. Yeah, people are still attacking her.
Oh, so she's backstroking.
Yeah, she's backstroking hard. People are pissed at all of them.
Here's the thing. That's just throwing gasoline on the fire now. That's why they're retarded at Arrowhead. You're throwing gasoline on the fire. Just stop. You're better off not seeing anything at this point. Let it burn out. Let people not be so angry. And they might be more reasonable to what you have to say in several days if you don't keep poking the bear. Don't poke the bear. Anyway, this is ridiculous. So we're going to keep covering this. This is going to be an evolving story. Whether we will be concluded by this time next week, we don't know, but we will probably come back to it. And also, I will want Jed's take on this, because Jed, as one who plays Helldivers, who plays with other people who are, as we said, very vocal in the fellowship community, I want to hear what he has to say. Either way, all right. So we got one more thing to talk about here, just on the way out the door, because this is self-promotion for myself and Dermy. We are less than a week away from Shooty Gatwa cosplaying the Doctor in Doctor Who. Now,
my views are already perfect with that shit, and I piss off so many people. Oh.
Jeremy and I, we chose to do this not out of desire to save Doctor Who. We are going to be reviewing this, talking about it out of spite. This is pure spite. Just to piss off those who have gotten their victory. Because they won. They got Doctor Who. It's lost. But we are going to just let it. We're going to let it burn, and we're going to roast it. Because when you got shit like this, when you got RTD saying, if you're not writing progressive wokeness in 2024, what on earth are you doing? We're roasting it. That's
the first episode is all about abortion.
Oh my god!
Seriously?
Yeah. Space babies.
Lord. Good
It's all
Lord.
about abortion. They confirmed they redesigned the screwdriver because it looked too much like a gun. And people are so butthurt whenever you point out that, hey, they attacked the fans. Go touch grass. That's attacking the fans. That's attacking your audience. That's attacking people. No, they're just attacking the haters. They're attacking us. I had somebody this week say that the 60th anniversary was not that big of a deal. Okay, the fact that their viewership numbers was bad is not that big of a deal. They're pushing it hardcore right now for Disney Plus, and they're gonna have massive viewership. It's gonna be massive.
Wow.
Just look at how many subscribers
wait.
Disney Plus
That is
has.
already retarded. Nobody watches Disney Plus.
Exactly. He's like, Disney Plus has massive subscribers. It's gonna be huge. It's like,
do you realize that they have a net loss in the past year of subscribers?
I pointed that out to them. They've even admitted it. There's talking about how they're still not profitable and they have to be profitable by the end of the year.
You want to talk about that? Let me bring this up. This was connected to something I was going to talk about. Damn, I just took it down. Let me bring it back up.
I'm loving these people.
Disney Plus is scrambling to try and get the numbers up because you look at this right here. They're partnering with Kroger to add Kroger accounts to their Disney Plus accounts. It's Verizon all good. They're trying to pad the Disney Plus accounts with Kroger accounts. So if you sign up, if this comes to fruition, if you sign up and have an account to Kroger for your shopping needs, you will then have access to Disney Plus.
So basically, all their employees get Disney Plus for free. Because I worked for a Kroger store where I am. It's called Dillon's.
Yeah.
When you sign up, when you work there, you get a free account and free bonuses.
This is essentially it's another thing for Verizon. They're just going to create a bunch of fake subscribers to pad their numbers because they need to try and get to that. Remember, 2025 supposed to be profitable.
But if they're not. If your numbers go up filled with free people, that's not profit.
But the
That's
idiots
just bump
that you
the
just talk about
numbers.
don't understand that. And at the same time, they're busy talking Disney Plus, Disney Plus. Dermy, how long ago were they saying, oh my God, Doctor Who, Disney isn't funding Doctor Who?
I did that. I believe Disney didn't have any control over Doctor Who and just was doing like what Netflix does with freaking anime.
No,
they have full power.
RTD said himself 2 weeks ago, I pointed it out in a video. He says Disney's funding it. He point blank says it when talking about the fact that the rumors about Millie Gibson leaving were untrue. He says, well, Disney's giving us these 2 seasons. You just admitted Doctor Who is a Disney property now. They 100% own it.
The biggest example of it being a Disney property is it's coming out like 6:30 our time.
Yeah, we get it first. Now, we get it Friday night. But because Dermy and I have other obligations on Friday with Ballbusters and sometimes other things in between, we will not be reviewing it till Saturday night after Jed and I are done with Drive-In. So for the next, starting this weekend, for the next 7 weeks, because there's only 8 episodes, right, Dermy?
Yeah, it was only 8 episodes because screw having like 13 to maybe even 20 some episodes, almost 20 episodes each season. We're only doing 8.
Yeah. We're only doing it. So we're gonna next 8 weeks. I can do math. Dermy and I are going to be live stream reviewing it. Now there probably will be clips afterwards. We'll both put out, but we're gonna live stream this because that's the only way we figured we can tolerate it. We can't do. I couldn't do an individual long form. I'm already. This is gonna run me into Acolyte, and then I have to get ready for Hot D season 2. So I already have my actual review shows going, but this is something we're not actually. This is kind of gonna be like a talk dissection type of thing. We're not actually reviewing it. We're shitting on it. We're gonna be up from now. We're gonna be shitting all over this and smearing it with boots.
I haven't done a review for a while.
Yeah,
I'm reviewing this shit.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm changing up my review style as well.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do best of moments and reclip it into a video for my reactions. That's what I'm going to do because I can't. It's bad enough that I now have to, and this is the deal I've made thanks to some in the chat. They've allowed me this option. I'm going to have to finish. I need to finish watching Avatar, Dermy. I still need to finish Avatar. And I can't bring myself to do the full review. So I'm going to do it. And we're going to do a natural 20, or I'm just going to do stream of conscious thoughts as the remaining episodes on that. So I can't do it.
I don't feel bad that I voted that you have to review Avatar.
You did it just to fuck with me.
Yeah. I don't feel bad.
No.
I refuse to. Because of Avatar, I made my new thing. If it's a batch drop, I ain't reviewing it because.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Well, thing is, I stupidly gave the chat an option, and you all screwed me over.
Listen, chat is king. Chat is powerful. Don't underestimate the chat, and sometimes don't give them power.
But they've given me a way out again, and I'm going to take it. So they've given me a compromise because I don't want to break my promise, but I also don't want to. I don't want to do it. I hate it. It's horrible. And you've seen what they've announced on season 2. They've announced the new executive producer because the previous showrunner, he's gone. Said we're going to condense it again for seasons 2 and 3. So that thing is fucked. But Doctor Who is also fucked.
Oh, Doctor Who's dead.
It's R.I.P.
Hey,
Doctor Who.
Take note of what they've said over and over again. We got 2 seasons. We got 2 seasons. We got 2 seasons. We got 2 seasons.
That's all you got.
Where's season 3? I mean, are they still filming for season 2? Are they done filming for season 2? Where's your third
they're
season?
actually still filming for season 2 right now. I think they're almost done. I think
they haven't mentioned a third season yet.
And also this, and Derby, how about this? How about another Christmas special this year? Because are these 8 episodes? Does that include a Christmas special? I haven't heard anything about a Christmas special for Shudi's first season, even though his first episode was a Christmas special. So does that count as Shudi's Christmas special for the first season, even though it was last year?
That's a good point. And RTD did say he wanted to bring back Christmas specials.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything else.
So are we getting all these episodes plus 2 Christmas episodes? Because we haven't heard that. I've heard nothing. Jed might know something. I'll ask Jed next week. But this is the end. This could be the end. These 2 seasons as we go through this could be the very end. Because if Disney loses their ass on this, which they're going to, who's going to fund it afterwards? Because Disney did. Listen, wherever Disney got the money to fund this, who knows? Because they don't have any money. They're not very liquid right now. Who's going to fund it afterwards? Because the BBC can't fund it itself. Because the BBC's steadily being defunded because nobody's purchasing the BBC license anymore. So
the Doctor Who right now is one of the funniest things to talk about. Funny in the sense that the stands can't accept. They might have won in destroying the show, but in the process, nobody gives a fuck about the show. Nobody cares. They can't accept that.
What trends the most when Doctor Who comes up right now? Jay Fraser says it right here. R.I.P. Doctor Who. That's what trends when a Doctor Who discussion begins. Shooty Gatwa doesn't trend. And if it trends, it's only because we're all going Shooty Gatwa is Shooty Gatwa.
Whenever I, do my Doctor Who things, I always, I tag it on Twitter, I tag it on YouTube where I need to tag it. And it's like hashtag Doctor Who, hashtag Doctor Who, hashtag RIP Doctor Who immediately fills out.
Yeah.
Every time you can do hashtag Shooty Gatwa, never shows up. Nope. Hashtag RTD or Russell T Davies never shows up. RIP Doctor Who shows up every single time.
Because we keep doing it. Because we're salty, angry nerds. You just took one of our favorite toys away forever. And you broke it. And you're claiming it's not broken as you stick it together in weird places and make it look like a deformed little monster. So we're gonna come out here and we're gonna say, fuck you. We're not gonna let you enjoy that you've turned Doctor Who into a gay transgender icon.
I love it when they come out here all the time saying the viewership is bigger viewership than ever. Then when you start breaking down like what did and what didn't, you get people coming in who are like, well, Happy Valley, for example, which had better viewership than Doctor Who across the board, was at the beginning of the year and was like nightmarish comparison when you actually broke it down. They're like, well, that was the ending of a 4-year-long story and everybody wanted to watch that. It's like, but this is the 60th. This is your celebration time. These are supposed to bring in all the viewership.
Yep. And my favorite is when we point out, this had more viewership when there was less people in the world. That's one of my favorite ones. This old Doctor Who stuff, more people watch it when there were less people alive to watch it.
Yeah.
So this is this is one of the most unfortunate outcomes of the pop culture war, that we have lost this. But and Dermia, you agree with this? We are gonna monetize and grift the hell out of this now.
Monetize these stands. Do whatever you take.
Dude,
Get that money.
We are gonna get so much hate from the stands. I mean, right now, I can't wait for the eventuality of either of our whatever we put out for this when it makes it on the Reddit, because then you'll know, because that's how they funnel shit. You guys understand. Whenever you see a sudden explosion of weird comments in your videos, that's because it made it on Reddit, and then they're funneling them in there to be angry at you, and that's how they funnel people to where they go. So it's a shame, but you know what? We're gonna have a party on the way out the door. We're gonna have a party. We want you to join us. We haven't set the time yet because it's you. I need to just confirm during our dog out, but it'll be Saturday night, and there might be an adjustment. I mean, you can understand this. There might be an adjustment on the 25th because I have a very busy stream schedule that day with this and drive-in, and with drive-in and what we want to do. And then I also want to do my Star Wars Day stream on the 25th. So it's a very busy day. So we might have to adjust our schedule one time for that, but stick to it. We'll let you guys know between all our social media outlets. Do that. We're going to enjoy it. We hope you enjoyed it. You can join us, and we'll be simulcast on both our channels so everybody can have some fun. And on the way, here we go as we end the stream here. God damn it. Here we go. Fernandez T for $10. What goes up must come down, right? But does it go back up with all these good shows, hopefully? Well, it depends on what you mean by good show. I mean,
things can rebound. I can safely say that there is such a thing as rebounding, but the problem is the silent customers. How many of them have walked away and will never come back?
It's also who remains to make it maybe go back up. Perfect example. Let's look at Star Trek. Curse with Trek is a disaster. 98%, 95% of it, total dog shit. But one man who loves Star Trek, Terry Matalas, who understands, who worked on real Star Trek, came out, gave us some decent Trek in Picard season 3, did the best of what he had, trying to ignore all the Kurtzman Trek crap that was out there. They had a chance. Everybody was screaming, give us Star Trek Legacy. Give us the Adventures of the Enterprise G with Captain Seven and Jack Picard. Give us that. That's what we want. With Sidney LaForge and a whole new crew. Forget Remy. She can fuck off. Give us that. What do? Oh, we're going to give you Star Trek Discovery Season 5. We're going to give you Starfleet Academy, and we're going to make a Section 31 movie that nobody asked for. It's all about who's in charge, and it's basically they told Terry Matalas in not so many words, thanks, but you can go fuck off. We don't want you here.
And another example is Hot D.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones ended and hurt the fan base big time. Hot D comes out. It's starting to rebuild trust. It's rebuilding that fandom. It's rebuilding that, like, people caring about that. I almost watched it last night. I need to re-up my Max subscription because I want to watch it again, and I'm looking forward to season 2.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching. I only watched everybody's reviews. I know what happened, but I need to fully actually watch season 1 myself in about 2 weeks so that I'm ready to do season 2.
I will not be reviewing it because I want something that I can just sit down and love.
You see, I'm only doing it because my subscribers have said, we want your non-fan review because you're not a Germ fan. You don't really care about Game of Thrones. So we want your straight up and down take where you're not necessarily looking forward to it. You're not excited. You're just going to watch it, and you don't lean to one side or the other. You're just going to tell us, does this work or does it? So and I'm going to work with that angle, and people ask me to do it. So I'm going to do it. So I'm going to review it, and maybe I'll become a fan. Maybe you'll watch me become a fan of House of the Dragon in the process.
I think you're going to become a fan.
I'm a Matt Smith fan. I can say that. I'm a Matt Smith fan.
Best character in the entire show.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So Fernandez, thank you $10. I hope we gave you a sufficient answer for that. And with that said, I'm out of topics, and we are over 2 hours. So let's say our farewells and go about our evenings. Dre, now that you're you could talk without pain meds, what do you got planned this week?
Yeah, pretty much just getting back on the horse. We'll see what goes down tomorrow. The internet always provides. So, whatever
are you
news
ready
is
for
dropping.
that X-Men 97 finale?
I am. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Well, 2 more episodes. 2 more
Okay,
episodes of X-Men.
okay.
I thought it was one.
My numbers
Yeah,
are
yeah,
off.
it's
I'm
2 more.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool because it's 2 more. Because
Okay.
it's because we're going into 9.
Okay,
next
so you got 2 more. Okay.
Yeah, 9 and 10. So yeah, I'm looking forward to them.
With all those teases of other 90s adaptations of
Yes.
characters in the last one.
So I'm looking forward to watching that on Wednesday. I have to catch up. I mean, I've seen them obviously, but I was laid up with holes in my mouth. So I gotta catch up, and I'm gonna see how I'm gonna fit in the reviews that I have to catch back up on. I might drop some on Tuesday. We'll see. But yeah, we'll be dropping. I'll be reviewing it on Wednesday, and then Friday we'll see. But I'm just gonna get back on the horse. But it might be some new news that drops tomorrow, maybe some comic news or what have you.
The
We'll see what
Helldivers
goes
thing
down.
came out of nowhere. The internet always provides.
Internet always provides. But yeah, so everybody, chat, you've always been great. Hit me on Twitter at TheBrood00 and all that wonderful stuff. Check out the Brew Playing Comics YouTube channel. Do all those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe. So we'll see how this week works out. We'll see what shakes out.
Dermy, what debauchery do you have planned?
I got my 2 to 3 videos every single day. I had a video already planned for tomorrow, but it looks like that I did on like Thursday. It looks like it looks like I have to completely change it because
Don't you hate that?
Thank God I never put it out, but Alyssa Mercante, holy hell. This is drama I was not even expecting to be, because I don't care about that like farm folks thing. But my God, she stepped in it big time.
These are people who they think they're untouchable is what they are, and they think they can just say whatever they want and not realize that, guess what, we're going to judge you, and the internet's going to judge you.
So Kotaku puts out an article that even like that park place, because the whole farm folks jiggle physics joke thing, that Kotaku did an interview with them where they heavily implied that the CEO of Farm Folks thinks anybody that is over sexualizing boobs are incels, and he doesn't want them playing his game. And apparently, she clipped his entire conversation out of context.
Whoops.
Yeah, so I have to completely change that video. Thank God I never put it out.
Well, yeah.
Shit.
So we got who we got on Ballbusters this week?
This week, one is still unconfirmed. It was gonna be Bradley Burnett, Duke Devil, have him back on, but I think we're about to have the first time appearance of the one lovely and beautiful Anna's Gameland on Ballbusters.
Hey, listen, Anna can hold her own.
Yeah,
she
knows
can
more than hold her
She
own
knows
now.
exactly what she's walking to. Listen, after Engaged, she knows exactly what she's walking into with what we do here. So, all right.
Listen,
so
she has been requesting to come on Ballbusters for a while now, so she wants she wants to be a part of this.
Well, she's your lawyer, and you have to listen to her.
Yeah, she's my lawyer. Yeah,
she's your lawyer. Anyway, all right. So that should be a good one. As for myself, tonight, of course, I'd like to stream some Stellar Blade, but considering that I kind of want to also watch Get Ranked tonight, it should be a fun one. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I might just do some personal grinding. I might do all the side missions on my own. I want to do some grinding. I might do that. But then tomorrow is Monday. Mellow Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we'll just try to nerd out, have a good time. Gaming streams throughout the week. Now that Dermy and the guys are working at 14, expect us to play more of that. Not necessarily streamed on my end, because last night, I know some of you might have seen it on a Renaissance Art Arcade. I kind of put the I might have tried to get it up there, but the whole conversation between OBS and YouTube were having an issue, and it lagged out on me, so I did it. Hey, listen, I'm happy to play some 14 tonight. Perfectly happy to play some 14 during Get Ranked.
I wouldn't mind playing some 14 while I'm editing and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine for it. I'm going to take a break.
I'm not even. I might not stream it. I might just play it normally.
That's the
I have
thing.
to get through some stuff.
Everybody's got to understand that while we're all playing it together, it's not always streamable. Some of the stuff we do in there. If we're like doing a night of dungeons and stuff like that, that will be streamable because crazy shit can happen and it could be exciting. But sometimes it's just random shit. Like last night, basically, Kel and I were following Dermy around to make sure he didn't die. That's what we were.
There was that, and also I was just trying to remember how to play.
Yeah.
I was changing up my gameplay style.
Yeah, he
and
went from
I think that was
to keyboard, so that was a thing.
And doing stuff like a game like Final Fantasy 14 is perfect for Saturday charity because I can play something and then simultaneously I can talk a whole lot more. Than
Unless if you're not in a dungeon, you kind of just stop for a minute and go. But yeah, so yeah, I'm all for it. Shit, you know what? Fuck it. I'll log in tonight after dinner and I'll start because I got to keep pushing my own way through it. And if enough of us are on, we can run some dungeons because we did find out that we do have enough jobs to fill it in house. It was fun. And if you are interested in joining us, let me know. Let Dermy know. And get in touch with us because we are on a game. Midgard Stormer is our server. We have a free company, and we're all slowly piling in. And we're good. It's chill. It's chill. It's fun. It's a very easy game to get in. And
I'm about to unlock my Dragoon class, and I'm
excited.
excited.
Yeah. You just got to push a little bit more on the storyline, and you'll get there. And then you're open up to all the stuff, and then you're gonna eventually get to Reaper because I know you want to play Reaper too.
Oh, Reaper is gonna be my go-to.
Yeah, and see, and I'm looking forward to Viper. With the new expansion, 2 swords. Oh, I'm so excited for that. Anyway, so catch us whether we're streaming or not, or join us in the game. Let us know, and we will all have some fun together. As for the rest of the week, Natural 20, we'll see if I have something to be angry about by then. Friday, I'll be on Ball Busters, and Jed will be back for Saturday Night Drive-In this Saturday as we begin celebrating real Star Wars for the rest of the month. We're watching The Phantom Menace for this week, and then the following week, Attack of the Clones, and then on actual real Star Wars Day, we will be watching Revenge of the Sith. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a good time, but we're going to be objective. Listen, I can tell you now, I enjoy Phantom Menace, but I'm going to be pretty harsh with my score.
I can my favorite, the best prequel movie is Revenge of the Sith. Personal favorite is Attack of the Clones, and I can safely say I think Attack of the Clones is the worst movie, but I love it.
There are a lot of problems. But we still have fun with it. It's still Star Wars. Anyway, so join us. I'll be right back here next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another roundtable where I'm sure, as we've been saying, the internet will provide. So thank you, one and all, in the chat. Those of you who came in late, hello. We do see you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Without you, we don't get to do this. We don't get to grow. Support everybody's channels. Links in the description below. Hit the like button, and we will see you guys next time. Until then, take it easy. Have a good night or day wherever you may be.